Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, we're definitely here to do this one. I haven't done this one in a long time, a long, long, long time. I'm here with one of the original OGs, the father of BMT. What's going on, Mimi?
Hey, 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 not a damn thing.
Okay. So, we definitely here for this one. Um, I definitely, I definitely wanted to do this one. Let me go ahead and drop the hair. Get it ready for this one. This is going to be a really good one that we're talking about. The links what had already been put out from the email. Um, I think I even had some people actually had hit me up about it. Um, let's see. Mm, how you doing? How you doing, Mimi?
Everything is alright. I can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I want y'all to understand that this that she is um, very special to me. She has helped me with that of family. She has helped me with that of building. What's going on, D? What's going on, D Brown? What's going on with your creative solutions? Um, what's going on to a lot of y'all? This is going to be an open discussion. I definitely want to have for men and for women. This is an open dialogue. I have my beer, I have my whiskey, I have my brews. Mimi has her snacks, and we definitely got to have the conversation that a lot of people keep alluding to or dipping around. We hear a lot of conversations talking about uh, that about family, that about men and women, submission. Mimi, how long have you been raising or been in the family lifestyle?
Um, I want to say for 12 years now.
12 years? Okay, so,
Yeah, we've been in it for 12 years.
okay, all right. So, I would want to ask, I would want to ask that of a question. I want to ask that of a question, and peace to Gyno and anyone else who's coming through. Um, there's been that of a discussion, uh, of a talk about that of family. Everybody's talking about family. It's going to fix society. It's going to fix men. It's going to fix women. It's going to fix the space. I don't believe that's realistic and true. That if you have good families, you'll have a better society. I don't think that's true. What's your thoughts on that? How do you feel about family? Do you think family is a solution, an answer? What's your thoughts?
Um, I think family is important. Um, I think the structure of a family is definitely important. I feel you had a point where you said, if you have a good upbringing, it could still be problems or there could still be issues and things, which is true. But at the end of the day, a lot of times, if you are brought up in a decent home, you know, preferably with both parents, um, maybe a sibling or two, I don't think that's a problem. I think that's honestly pretty good, especially for society. Excuse me, because if you're bringing up a child, to be respectful, to, have morals and values, um, I think 9 times out of 10, you would have a pretty decent human being. Granted, yeah, you get outside influences and peers and peer pressure and all that other shit, but a lot of times, if you do have a good upbringing, you 9 times out of 10, like I said, would have a decent human being, someone who's brought up to be a pretty good adult, who knows what they want out of life, things of that nature. If you come from a crummy background, of course, things won't, be as bright as the family, that has all the pieces to that puzzle. But sometimes, even in a crummy background, you do have that maybe one person who does, get to grow up, still go to college, beats all the odds, and still becomes a decent human being. So, I mean, it kind of goes both ways, but I mean, I just think, a family structure is pretty important.
Hmm. Um, I want to be honest, and I want to read this comment from D. The dynamic of the word family has changed over time, but truth be told, have a healthy environment and more than one voice to pour the structure of morality with your children and to have a person to pool your finances with, it's earlier to go further. Shout out to Brother Rob. Um, okay, so I've had my roller coaster of family, um, and I've had my fair advantage of how I viewed family. And I look at that of the cast of family as a whole. And I would honestly say, for me, I don't believe family is going to honestly fix that of societal issues in Black America. I don't think like I know we put a lot on the emphasis on family and family, 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 right? Family, family, and family to me is that of a tool. Being honest, it's a tool. It's what you make it. You can have it where you do have a family, but that doesn't mean you're actually. That doesn't mean either your family can either be a help, a building tool, or it can be a hindrance. It can actually be that a very very drastic dynamic. And this is not me being um, it's not me being negative. And yes, you do bring up a valuable point. You're saying that communities were stronger back then. I think we have emphasis that um, having families made the community stronger. I won't say it was having families made the community stronger. I would say having accountability because if one group is going without or not, you're having a certain type of problem in that town. It's up for that of the up that for that of the group or how that structure to deal with it. Um, we have a big emphasis. Well, we want the women to be more feminine. Have you heard of that? What is this thought about women? If women were more feminine, cooking, cleaning, X, Y, and Z, and come back to the home. Have women left the home, or are they in the home, or they never left the home, or are they building a home? What's your thoughts on that? And this is an open dialogue discussion.
I won't say women left the home. I just feel like with nowadays, everybody, is, oh, well, we in 2022, so, we can do this and we have a right to do that, which is true. You do have a right to do quite a few things. But I just think everything is just, again, with the whole family structure period, everything is just switching up. Um, I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. It's just, excuse me, my throat is kind of bothering me. It's just different. It's very different. And I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But I don't think women left the home. I really don't think women left the home. Um, I just
So they
think they
have.
want to be more. I just think they want to be more out there, maybe. Um, but I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that.
Okay, okay. Um,
I was gonna say, can I go next on this?
go ahead.
Okay, so this is what trips me out, right? When these guys talking about the women is not home, and cleaning, and not doing this. Um, I just think that the man's supposed to create that environment where the woman trusts him, trusts his leadership, and she's able to let go and do those things. Because it's hard for you to be in that womanly role where you're the person down and not just relying on one person. You're being asked to help contribute or go to work or do other things or help do the bills. It's like you can't function and do everything. So I feel like the man who says that he hasn't created that environment. He wants to use that as a talking point. Because if he actually treats a woman right and he gets a woman, she will be in a whole thing. But that's just a cop out. I feel like
Okay.
it's a cop out. Because there's women out there who are willing to do that. But can he afford that? Can he afford that environment happen?
So, okay. And this is why I say the family modular structure talk is a dead conversation in that of society, or especially amongst Black people, especially around 2022. It's not my job to create you an environment. It takes two. It's not. We have this logic that, well, the men are supposed to create this environment for that of the woman, and then I'm like, well, what environment are you already in? Like, I need to know, because what environment did I find you in? But if I'm born in the same environment, or if I'm from what environment I'm coming from, I think we have this displacement theory that um, men and women are from two separate planets. We're both, like, the modern man and modern woman are coming out the same environment. Uh, and if understand this, like, the conversation when it comes to that of building a certain type of structure, right? Because nowadays, um, you know, uh, I would have to ask, like, what is the environment that you're already in? Uh, if men are asking that, or what kind of men are you're dealing with? Um, are we in an over hypergamous um, climate? Yes, we are. We're in an over hypergamous climate. It is definitely has done a lot of structural damage. A lot of systematic levies have been lifted. It's kind of hard to compete with a system that's already outperforming that of what any normal man or woman can. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb. That sounds pretty cool. But communities were stronger back then. Government replaced spouses and mates. We have traded real togetherness for welfare, and never newer generations have lost their culinary skills, or it's been replaced with fast food. When it comes to that of the design, because if a man is not built to be in the home like he used to be, then what is the woman built to be? That's why I said making a family is it's not going to fix the black society. Uh, how is only one half affected, but then the other half is not? And so no one is owed upon no one to do the full share of the scope of the work. No one is owed upon anyone. I think this is why now this new younger generation, they do not care to holistically really build a home like that. It's not even that. It's like get what you can out the scraps of the heap. Um, it's definitely a societal incline. Will will the family modular of 1950 look disappeared? Yes, I think it will be dead. Well, close enough there. I think that's why we're even reaching out to um, immigrants. But looking at immigrants now, they're tired. They're now being engulfed in societal promiscuity. So that of women having it where they're like, why do I need a man? Fair enough. Then what need do I have for a woman other than probably reproductive? And this is where we're hitting these milestones. That's what I'm saying. Like this conversation of talking about family. I don't think people care for that of the longevity anymore. I get what Brother Rob was saying, but longevity talk are people aren't even living like that now. So the longevity conversation, I don't think a lot of people in hindsight have it like that. People aren't living that long past what 70. So what would honestly be the take for anybody honestly to want to actually build or set up a family when they're like, yo, I'm good. I'm getting by. Go ahead, Mimi.
Um, excuse me. I think just getting by is not real living. Okay, anybody can be like, okay, I'm just making it. I'm just doing this. I'm just doing that. Excuse me. When you do have a family, it does take some of the weight off the other person, especially when you can build and do together. When you're by yourself, it makes things a little bit harder, especially with inflation and how prices and things are going up constantly. You honestly do need someone else to a roommate, somebody, something, extra income, something to help you just to get by. With a family, though, I feel like, especially with, husband or wife, when you both have those streams of income and possibly maybe even, you probably got an older child or something, they start working or whatever. They can actually start contributing to maybe if you would like them to start contributing into the home as well. Um, but you are gonna have, I think you would have a little bit more of a easier time than just with, okay, I'm by myself and I'm just trying to make it. I think that's really hard for people, especially nowadays. I'm not saying a family solves everything, but I'm saying it can contribute to a little bit more of a healthier lifestyle, more of just, okay, I'm just making it. I'm just getting by.
So let me ask you this: Do y'all? Let me ask you, ladies, this. Both of you are mothers. Do you feel that family is the key to fixing Black society?
Say
Do
that one
y'all
more time.
do y'all feel like Black people forming families is the key to fixing Black society? Because to me,
Of
I
course it
think
is.
family is no more than just a tool. To me, family is no more than just a tool.
Well, you keep saying it as a tool, but again, if you're raising up, especially your children to do more than, try to be a rapper, try to be a thug, try to hang out in the streets and shit like that, I feel, yeah, it can be very beneficial because now you have somebody who can become an engineer, somebody who can contribute more to the community or just contribute, period, in life.
So, so am I living? Am I living for that of the community, or am I living for that of myself? Because we're putting a heavy emphasis now. Like, I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to put this in your mind. Sometime, someday, some other woman is going to see y'all and is going to come upon y'all three women on this panel, and you're having to possibly, if you're for it or against it, plead your case. Why family will fix that or can help fix that of black society. I am of the latter now, and I am that of a family man, in the belief that family is no more than just a tool. It is not that of a viable key to fixing black society. What we have as issues has far surpassed that of, even if we were to do black family, that's still not going to fix our problems. You have black families back then. Did that fix your problems? No. So why now, if you think now, with all that of accessible access to other things that can substitute that of family, why would it fix it now?
Well, I think one of the things we're forgetting is that, but for the family unit, the family structure that we created in the
In the
1930s, 1930s and 1940s, we would not have been prepared for the civil rights movements of the 50s and the 60s. There was a tool that we used to advance our cause. It
So
was
you
the strength of unity, so to speak. But now we've kind of moved away from that, and we've seen drugs plague our communities. We've seen promiscuousness plague our communities to destroy the family unit. And a lot of people, they sit up there and they don't act like they're going to get old. They don't act like that back in the day, your children were a tool. They were an investment for your old age. When you could not work any longer, your children were supposed to wipe your ass. They were supposed to take you where you needed to go. They were supposed to make sure you had food and shelter in return for your raising them and helping them with their children. That's the way it was. Now we have the grandparents are out there working 70, 80 years old because they have to. Their kids are not reliable. Why aren't the kids reliable? Because the parents were not reliable.
okay,
So, to
but
your
now,
point, Joe, yes, it is a tool, but it's a tool that we are not using.
okay, thank you for your honesty. Now, and listen, listen, man, y'all understand. As long as y'all know me, I'm a family man, but I'm also understanding that all this jargon about we got to get back to family, we got to get back to family. Listen, man, I can give you a toolbox. You understand me? But the toolbox is no good if you don't know how to use the tools for the appropriate situation. Understand? So people saying, well, women, y'all got to come back to the house. And I would tell the men, well, let's say y'all do get the women to come back to the house, right? What then? Because if you got the woman to come back to the house, what viable resources do you have to sustain that woman? I hear a lot of women, y'all need to have children and bear and do this stuff. If the woman is psychologically not there in her appropriate mind to that be a mother, we now have a statistical problem. Are you understanding what I'm saying? For the men, for the ladies saying, we want real men. Well, you can get all the men and all the penises you want. You can get all the men with money. A man can have money and not know how to run a home. A man can be a provocateur or pretty good at speaking to the crowd, but not know how to lead. We've seen plenty of preachers, plenty of people. Not listen. Y'all know y'all can say, "Well, here you go, looking at the TV." No, I'm looking at the resume and statistical facts of the community. Y'all say we don't have enough teachers. Well, you got black teachers. What's up? You say we don't got no people in the home. Well, you got people in the home. What's up? Like, you can't tell me you don't got it, and when you what you got before you, it ain't probably being used. So you can say, hey, we need family. But last time I checked, looking at COVID, domestic violence went up. Child impoverished issues went up. Your kids, though y'all said we need to educate our children, your kids failed in education. So, even though that whatever unnatural God disaster just happened, if I had to grade that of the family right now, I would say it would be an F. There were more children born out of this culture condition that did not holistically know how to that deal with the family. So if somebody would say, hey, BMT, by making family is going to fix black society, I don't think so. I don't think so. And y'all can argue your point, saying, well, the men have to build a viable environment. Then I would say, well, what environment do you know how to maintain the environment if the man built it? If I built you a car, do you know how to maintain and upkeep the car? For the men, you said you want a woman, but do you know that of the art of keeping that woman in the home? And I can tell you right now, if you're saying it's all I need is money, you have already failed. If you think it's that through your penis or your sexual organs, you have drastically failed. KS, welcome. We're looking at the discussion of making family is not going to fix black society. It's a tool. Welcome. What's your take?
Hey, it's good to see everybody. I agree with a lot of what Attorney Michelle was saying. I think that people do forget, though. A lot of kids, like, when the families was closer, like BMT was talking about, domestic violence and stuff, people did experience abuse. And so they were like, well, I'm going to run to New York and I'm going to be my own person, or I'm going to run to, LA or Chicago, wherever, and be my own person versus, stay with the family that's mistreating me. And what BMT was just saying about you have to give me a minute. Lost my train of thought. But basically, oh yeah. So the topic, basically, well, it's can't just be family alone. I think you need like a community. You need other people, other families that you can talk to, or like the parents definitely need other parents or adults that they can talk to, bounce stuff off. If you're low on something, maybe you could reach out to someone to help. Like it's not just the family alone, but it's like the environment and all of that too.
It's a community.
Yeah.
We had a sense of community before desegregation. We had a sense of community. Now, when you hear them talk about the black community, I start wincing my eyes and going, huh? Because the association of the black community are those that are in poverty. Because if you make something of yourself, if you get a little money, you want to move out of the ghetto. You don't want to live in the hood. You want to move in a nicer neighborhood. So you lose a
It's
lot of the
twofold.
community structure.
It's twofold though, Attorney Michelle, because sometimes those same, kids get pushed out. Like the other kids in the community be like, oh, you're the weirdos, or, we don't want y'all, or you all think y'all better than us. And so they don't fit in there. And then, so then they do, because there's a class and a culture thing going on. And I wasn't trying to cut you off, but there's a
No,
class there's like a class and a culture thing. Like I don't think a lawyer making 100,000 could just live in the hood and not experience certain things, because people sometimes they want safety. Sometimes people that make a lot of money, it's not that they're anti-black, but they're like, I want safety and I want acceptance.
true. I mean, all those are true. Growing up, I lived in the hood, but a judge lived behind me, a black judge. He had lived in that house before desegregation, and he continued to live in that house in the hood. But nowadays, I'll be honest, there's class warfare among non-blacks. There's classism in Asian cultures. I
Hmm.
mean, I didn't realize the extent. Koreans don't get along with Vietnamese, and then there's even hierarchy amongst the Koreans and the Vietnamese. I love it when people say, the Vietnamese, the Asians, they are so smart in school. They're always so smart. Then I'm like, why are they always the ones doing my fingernails and selling me donuts
Oh
if they
my
all,
God.
engineers and rocket science? I mean, it's ridiculous, the stereotypes that we feed into as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
The Asian community is dysfractured.
Yes, they
They
are.
come into the black neighborhoods and open all kinds of stores. And we don't have an export to the Koreans. We don't have an export to the Vietnamese. They sell to us, but we do not sell to them. And when you talk about community and
Hmm.
family and support, it's always about, well, if I don't have, then maybe you can give me some of this. We need to start thinking in the terms of export. What can we collectively export to other groups?
Now,
You
why is it got to
know,
be? Why it got to be collectively? Why does it have to be collectively?
well, I say collectively in the sense that you need two legs to walk. There's a left and a right. That one person does not create an empire.
Okay. But I always push out the fact when people say, "Well, the Asian community is intact," or whatever community is intact, and I'm like, that's not true because they sell off their daughters to goddamn trafficking for goddamn nail salons or massage parlors. How's that an intact family? You can't say, well, the Russians or any other group. I mean, they got coyotes that literally will use children across the border and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, so we have this mind state that a lot of people you think that they got it together because you can't see what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know because you're not holistically there or you're not holistically in their circle. Our thing, because we are part of American society, whether we want to receive it or not, American societal families are vastly dissolved and fractured, and it's not just a black thing; it's a people's thing. It's actually but majority. I'm looking at that of the black lens because that is what I frequent with or deal with. So I get, when I look at other groups and think that they have it positively together. I was going to that dog stray. We like to think, well, other families don't have these problems. Other groups don't have this problem. That's not true. You know, other groups do drastically have this problem. They sure beating us out in every measure.
So
Um,
then, excuse me, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. So then,
but
why is it that our negative side is only showcased? How come there aren't any more families out there like that, especially of the black community, being showcased in a positive light? You stated that every other culture, Asian, Russian background, whatever, they showcase how their families are intact and how everything is good and everybody has a good upbringing, this, that, so on and so forth. And that's all fine and dandy. But like you just said too, we don't know what goes on in the dark. We don't know what goes on in their background. But for us, we get showcased as, you know what? We're just on drugs. We stay broke. We're in poverty. We want to rob, steal, kill, cheat, all this crap. And this is the only thing that gets showcased for our community. So why is that? When you do have families out there who are trying, who are making it, who are doing great, possibly, better than most. Why is it that we constantly have to showcase the negative side of the black community when everybody else gets to showcase, okay, you know what? We got it. We're good. We're okay. Everything is in line. Our family structure is all that and then some. Like, why is it like that?
I I will say this: everybody likes watching. Uh,
A
when it
train
comes
wreck.
to the train wreck, correct? Nobody watches 6 o'clock news to hear the boring shit. We watch it because we want to see the high speed chase. We want to see who robbed the liquor store. You want to see the news is infamous for listen. We need to get the juiciest things that happen and put it out there. Nobody wants to see little Tanya sold lemonade and you know what I'm saying and donated it for that way girls can have deodorant and sports bras. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see that of the chaos. And I got to be honest, like when it comes to that of the media that we predominantly actually frequent and promote, it hasn't holistically been that of a positive narrative. Everybody likes watching Power with 50 Cent and black families selling goddamn bundles of drugs and high promiscuity and sex and everything. You'll have it where a man literally wears a nice suit, but he runs a drug organization or empire where one son is goddamn autism, the other one's gay, and the other one he has mommy and daddy issues, and they're all successful, and yet they're always getting into trouble, fighting, dysfunctional and shit. And everybody say, "Damn, the Lion family is the most fucked up family," but they can sing, rap, and dance. Like, yes, and I ain't gonna lie, I love watching Power. I love watching Empire. I love watching that shit. But I was like, damn, this thing got the black woman looking crazy as fuck. The light skinned nigga always into some fuck shit. The son is gay, and the black man who's smart, he has to be autistic on the spectrum. Like you gotta understand that of the media that is fed. And listen, man, you gotta choose what you choose to entertain. You know what I'm saying? So as far as
But
it's what's put out there. That's what's shown. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Yeah.
So you
And who
have the
controls the
real,
media?
huh?
I mean, who controls the media? Really and truly, there are 8 prominent Caucasian families that control the bulk of the media in the United States. So even BET is owned by a white man.
yeah, they
So
sold it.
he determines what is black entertainment now, what is labeled black entertainment. And having been in that space, I worked for African Heritage Network. And it was, I've said this before, Frank Mercado Valdez took over the Apollo Theater. Why did Frank Mercado Valdez take over the African Heritage Network? Why was he the face of the black community? Simply because his mama was Puerto Rican and his father was Cuban, and he happened to have kinky hair like his mama and dark skin like his Cuban father. So he portrayed African Americans as the type of people that we would turn on any TV show, regardless of the quality, as long as we saw black actors and
Yep.
actresses.
Yep.
And it was a form of, why would we advertise on your show? Because black people will eat it up. Mickey
Hmm.
D's, IHOP, those were programmed towards us.
Popeyes.
Okay.
You know the
It
sister that
was
says
a
love.
vehicle for them to sell their products to our communities. And you
But me,
just, I don't mean to be rude, but think about when we look at Jet Magazine, BET, there is a commercial running around on the internet, we'll tag it one show, where Ebony went and told the white businesses, hey, if you want to sell to black people, you need to advertise in our magazine. We know how black people like to buy. When black people come in your store, sell them the most expensive stuff. They like that. It's actually a training video on how to sell to black people, done by Ebony. It wasn't for our benefit as a community. He got paid. We got sold out.
I would ask
I'm
Mimi
sorry, I didn't
has
mean
a
to
point.
monopolize
There was
that.
a balance. Like when you look, like there was definitely like black people from the 80s and 70s. They were not gonna watch Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop would not be able to be in the market in the 70s and 80s. We would have called and got that canceled. But now I think
Bad Girls
the,
Club.
yeah, the last 2 decades maybe, I think people individualism came more about. So everybody is more focused on being their own person than like coming together. And so, same thing Real Housewives, like that wouldn't be you know, that wouldn't have been allowed at the same time that the Cosby Show was on.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the negative side has more airtime than it's not a balance.
I would
I
want to
remember
say
in the 90s, I had never heard of Dorothy Dandridge. Never ever heard of her. And that was one of the beautiful things about working for African Heritage Network is he did go to the movie studios and say, hey, you know those colored films you had from the 1940s and 1950s? Can I use those? You know, a lot of this generation doesn't know anything about, you know, St. Louis blues. They don't know about these things.
Well, and that
And
was
I
the
got
thing too. Growing up for me, I had Reading Rainbow. There's no Reading Rainbow on TV no more. There's not shows like that.
mm-mm.
so. I got a question. So, um, again, um, so why is it that and I'm asking that, and I'm asking, uh, why is it that we're not using the viable tools? The tool agenda is used heavily in politics. Like politics is coming up. Like we're going to be having voting coming up, and they're going to start banging on the narrative of family. But however, the family is heavily splintered and fractured. The family talking point is no more than that of a societal tool. It's a leverage talking point. Um,
You
and
know,
it's very,
there is
very
look at it
unlevel.
like this. Look at it like this. When I sit up there and scroll through the internet earlier today, I heard black men come talking about Nia Long. Oh, she getting up there now. She getting up there now.
But
It's
she's
like,
50.
but okay, when you have that mindset out there, men in their 50s, 40s, 60s, still on the prowl. It's like Nia Long has no value to these men because she's not young anymore.
Well, who
At
was
one
she
point in
dating?
time, she wasn't dating any of those broke ass
No,
people that
no,
were
no, no.
talking about it.
She's with a football coach.
She was with a football coach for how many years? She was engaged to him for how many years?
I think what
15.
10, 12?
Yeah, like 12 to 15 years. I would ask, why was she complacent with that stance?
What's the benefit of marriage to a woman in today's society?
Oh,
If
oh,
you
oh,
can, family, marriage, two different
hold on.
things.
Wait. So, Nia Long, successful actress, X, Y, and Z. She was engaged for 12 to 15 years. You just said a statement. What is the benefit to a woman with marriage nowadays?
Maybe she didn't want to lose out on her money. I don't know.
Okay. So then why? So why the outrage about her man with dealing with other women if that wasn't even her man? We're not married. We're not contractually obligated to each other.
We can't use stars as an example, like because they be
Well,
on connection.
Engagement.
I didn't bring up Neil Long, but nevertheless, just using that because we all know who she is. I'm just bringing up a viable example. A 51-year-old woman stayed engaged to a man for 12 plus years. I know a lot of women that are like that have done these goddamn 10-year plus engagement. She accepted the wifey term. I'm sorry, she accepted that. She played wife, but she wasn't a wife. So guess what? I can't feel bad that she cheated. Why? He's not obligated to you. I'm seeing this shit all the time. I see people dating all the time, and society recognizes, oh yeah, that's hubby and that's wifey. That's so and so baby mama at the Source Awards. That's so and so. That's his baby mamas. That's her baby daddy. You think I care for Nipsey Hussle's baby mama to be giving some damn speech? I didn't give a shit to hear that shit. I said that's not even his wife. That's his baby mama.
And what was the
That's
other
his
one
baby
whose boyfriend died really recently? Wasn't it? What
Oh,
was
PM.
the actor?
Get me right. That's his baby mama. I'm like, y'all, listen, bro. Baby mama, baby daddy is that of the societal norm in society, because that the system has eroded away that of the thought for family. What's going on, Sister Shirley? This, like I said, come on up. Um, if y'all want to say, well, men allowed it, then I would say, well, who's playing the game? Who's playing the game? It takes two to play the game. You can't play Uno by yourself.
You're right. I think those are stars though, so they have a whole different narrative on why they
Okay,
do
so
things.
we want to use regular people. I got regular people that run around saying that's hubby and wifey.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I know I can easily do this. Like I said, like this is listen. When people think of black society, they think of wifey, baby mama, baby daddy, your baby mama, some shit. That's why I didn't feel no type of way when Donald Trump said you are the sons of bastards.
What?
He
So when
said
he's
that.
yeah, Donald Trump said that you're the sons of bastards. Where was the lie? It is no secret. Majority of black NFL players are from single parent households. That's not a secret. That's an abdominal fact that literally they go to impoverished neighborhoods and literally pick the kids, scout the kids from those areas, move them to D1 schools and put them in there. They run them like pack mules, and after they get to the NFL, they probably do at least about what, good 5, 10 years. Why do y'all get? Why do y'all feel? Why do y'all feel about? Why do y'all feel some type of way about that? Like a lot of Black America is that of producing bastardized kids,
You're
and
right.
it's no. So you can't get mad if somebody brings up that of an irrefutable fact. You can't get mad.
I think that's,
Who's
but I
mad?
think that's
Nobody's
taking
mad.
a minority and making it the majority.
Is it really
I think so.
the
Or
majority?
there's also the term married single mother.
Oh
That is a
yes,
very
that's
real term. Married
Yeah,
single mother.
I agree with that.
right. So that's another thing. Let me go. I'll pull that up for you.
If
Can you
common
go?
law marriage was legal everywhere, I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that just be common law married.
I think y'all doing that already.
It's legal here in Texas and they ain't doing it.
Mm.
That shit ain't recognized for shit. That shit ain't gonna get you nothing.
Yeah. Mm-mm. We got,
The
I mean, I
softball
don't
marriage
understand
ain't
this.
doing
You got gay people fighting to get married and brothers running the other direction. It's like,
what's it
nah,
called?
man, I don't
Single
want to give up
marriage?
all that.
Oh, single marriage, single married, single married. I don't know what it's called now.
Married
Um,
single mother.
married single mother. Okay, there you go.
No, black men are from the time that they are like old enough to walk, they are taught, young man, hold the hoe, get some of that pussy. It's like you listen to some of these men talk, and it's like, honestly, there are brothers that'll walk up to you. Yo, can I hit that? Can I hit that? Like, excuse me?
Yeah, yeah,
I
happy.
wouldn't
Yeah,
even
that's
eat
how it is.
food out of someone else's mouth. But y'all done got so nasty. Some of y'all, some have gotten so nasty, they just will hit anything. And they'll be in their 60s and 70s still with that mentality of, it's all about the coochie. It's all about sex. It's all about getting it up the ass. Whatever, however your sexual terminology is, they are programmed obsessed. So when you see someone like Nia Long, who's 51, they're not interested in her in the same way any longer because guess what? Most 51-year-old women cannot get pregnant. And I honestly do believe that there are a lot of men out there that if the woman can no longer produce children, offspring, they're not excited. They're not into that area. So you do have that idea of a lot of men when they hit that middle age crisis, they're going to jump down and go try to find somebody in their 20s or 30s. They in their 40s, they want to go down now with someone. So women know these things. We see it happening in the greater society. So in the black community, where for so many years we had that tendency of being married, but then the husband, in order to get work, had to go up north and might have a whole nother family up north. These are realities we don't talk about, but we know they happen.
Okay. So that so
Yeah,
when we hear about when we hear about that of well, daddy had two families and all that other shit, that's a fractured society. I don't give a fuck how y'all try to romanticize that shit. that back in the day a man could have two homes and all two or three homes and he take all the
Nothing
homes.
about that is romantic.
There's nothing about that. That shit sounds like poverty, 120% hands down. That is poverty. There is no way you're telling me you're making it to goddamn two school meetings. Nick Cannon is making fucking well-to-do black men look like a fucking fool. Nick Cannon is making black men look like a well-to-do fucking fool because this man is
But let's
making.
not forget Eddie Murphy did it first. Let's not let you know.
You know, you're right. Eddie
Let him
Murphy did
follow it up on Eddie Murphy with all his,
all his
yes, he had
goddamn.
it in his prenup. He had it in his prenup that they would have at least 5 kids. So she got $1 million for each child she produced.
But here's the thing: Eddie never tried to pretend to be conscious. Like he's been a clown forever.
A
That's crazy.
clown
Nick
forever.
Cannon kind of tried to do the whole conscious and woke, and I'm wearing a turban because I've
Yeah,
been
and I
lightened.
never took him serious. Like
Yeah,
y'all can listen, man. At this point, I'm gonna be honest. You can't blame the white man for this shit. At this point, it's on autopilot now. If y'all thinking that, well, let's talk about black family and how to get men and women and shit. That's a conscious, independent decision between
Absolutely.
Okay.
between two men and women. The
Okay.
conversation I hear with people trying to say, I'm about to give it to you, Mimi, and that how can we get black men and women together? I'm like, why the fuck are y'all talking about that? You're not the individuals that have to make the honest decision. Like that's like I got a woman pregnant and I can want a baby. That doesn't mean she wants to carry that baby. That's going to be her conscious decision that she herself will have to make. Am I willing to go the 9 to 8 months, the 8 to 9 months with carrying this child, married or not? That's a real thing that women will decide. Same
Hmm.
oh
thing.
yeah.
Same thing with uh, a woman saying, "Well, I got a man." Y'all carrying rings around saying y'all got a man, but knowing damn well your man don't really fuck with y'all. Y'all asses still be online. Y'all still be doing the same shit. Your nigga don't really fuck with you. Your nigga don't even give you goddamn gas money, let alone even talk to you. You just saying you got the title, and so the shit don't really matter. That's what I'm saying. Like people are only using these bargaining talking points as a tool. I got kids, but you don't have no motherly qualities. You can say, well, this has been generational. No, 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 no. Just because my daddy and all his friends and them were out there doing that goddamn rock and they were getting high, don't mean I had to go do it. I had a conscious decision and a choice. See, that's the thing about it. I always hear this shit about well, back in the day, nigga. We talking about now, bro. You wasn't in the streets marching. You wasn't out there with Penny Proud. You damn sure on raising no fists, running around with the Panthers and shit. Some of y'all, and the ones that were doing it, they're old as dirt now. They about close to Jesus Nazareth right now. So all this talk now,
Speaking,
everybody's for themselves on this talk. You know,
Well,
yeah.
you gotta make
Speaking of Jesus, right? Hi everybody. Happy Sunday, by the way. Speaking of Jesus, it's not a foreign concept that people haven't heard of the scripture. Our people perish from ignorance, right?
no, we heard that.
And that would be the case when a person isn't aware how to vet somebody through the, I guess you would call it the dynamics of compatibility. There's a term for it where you have to consider compatibility. A lot of people just go with their lust. They see someone who's muscle bound and he has demonstrated himself to, just beat a guy up arbitrarily. So obviously he can defend me. And next thing you know, she's hopping on him. Or vice versa, where she has all the curves a man likes. And so obviously everything's going to go right. These are lust, and a lust is different from dimensions of compatibility. And that's what I would say we're not teaching our children to prioritize dimensions of compatibility above the lust. And that's all I want to say. And thanks for having me.
Okay. I will say this. I will say this. Um, one can grow up in a viable home, and again, you can raise a child to that of the best of your abilities in this day and age. Children are going to do what they do. Children are going to do what they do. What I mean by that is that trying to push that of the narrative that they, I'm gonna use this for instance. A lot of women, a lot of young women have were pre-mothers raising their sisters and brothers. So when they got older, they didn't give a shit to want to be mothers anymore because they were doing it for such a long time. They're like, why would I want to raise kids? I raised my brothers and sisters. I've heard people say that on panels. So when you bring up to them, well, you know, if you find the right, if an older woman were to say, mama, like let's say Michelle would say, well, daughter, I want you to go find a good man, do this and that, and then the daughter's gonna say, well, why didn't you? You telling me this, but you didn't do it. You're giving me these instructions, but you didn't follow through it yourself. This is where you're hearing that of the vitriol from that of the begotten child, because they're gonna easily throw it right back to you. You can tell me this good jargon, but you
Mm.
yourself never practiced it. Like,
But
mama, how you gonna tell me
but
to be abstinent?
you mentioned though about making it easy. This is where the trick comes in. Don't
What I
make it so easy for them to be that rebellious. And that takes money and in the form of a living trust. When a child knows that unless you comply with the parameters within a living trust, you are on your own. And I guarantee, like more often than not, a child is going to adhere to what is expected of them when they know that a certain amount of money is waiting for their reward as compliance.
that,
It's a
I don't
fact.
know. Kids don't care about that type of stuff.
Bella, that does not work. That doesn't work.
Try live in trust and see if it don't work.
No, it don't.
Well,
That
Try a
might work.
real juicy,
That might
big,
work
ample
when
living
what I
trust
wanted
and
to get
nah,
see
at,
that'll
whether or
work
not
when they're
that child
hold up.
30
complies.
and they've been on their
What
own for
I
5
wanted to get
years.
at, hold up, I'm sorry, y'all. But what I wanted to get at was, when y'all had talked about the whole the baby Nick Cannon and all them with a whole bunch of baby mamas and stuff. My thing is, what about the family man, the black family man who has a wife and he probably has maybe 10, 12, however many kids. He got a lot. He's doing what he needs to. His family structure is intact. He's taking care of his family. The wife is doing what she needs to do for the kids, all that good stuff. Their life is in order. But we will sit here and call them ignorant. We will call him irresponsible. We will call him all kind of things and judge them just because of how many kids they have. But when you have white families who got 20 and 30, 40, 50 damn kids who are getting molested, who are getting abused, who are getting beat up, whatever, poor white trash, whatever it is you want to call them, we're not sitting there saying that. We're not sitting there judging them. Why is it so quick? Why are we so quick to do that to the black man and his family for however many kids he has? Because not all men
I
are
mean,
like Lil Wayne, Nick Cannon, and Eddie Murphy and all them niggas. So why do we do
it
that?
depends. It depends. I'm from an area where in Texas we praise a certain family. They have a website called Moo Jesus. I tease them about Moo Jesus all the time. But it is a black couple that decided to take their family and take it out of the mainstream society and start a farm so that they could be self-sufficient. And he personally delivered all six of his children himself. So, and you got to give, they're a working unit. They invite other people to come to their compound and see how it's done. So it's about, spreading these, real live truisms. But, the thing about it was he was a vice president at Verizon. He had the money to do that. His kids will have money to go off to college. So that's why people kind of look at large families and go, okay, it's a little bit much. The ones that had 18 and counting and all that, they got on that TV show in order to feed all those damn kids. It wasn't like they were living a lavish lifestyle. They were mediocre people, and she just didn't know how to use birth control. and they
Right.
made a brand out of it.
But they weren't getting looked at as negative. They were getting looked at as, okay, you know what? This is how we need to be. This is, this is what a family structure is.
Yeah,
This is
they're
what
so
this is
devout
about. That's what
Christians
they're
and
showcasing. So why is it
Yeah,
not the
they
same thing, for the black man and his family when he has maybe just about the same amount of kids or whatever? Why are we sitting here, like I said, sitting here calling him ignorant or irresponsible? Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You know better than that because now your kids are going to grow up on welfare,
I
this,
mean,
that,
what
and
does he
everything
do for a
else.
living? I mean, that
But I mean,
the
if he,
parameters,
but
how much
that's
it
what I'm saying. That
costs
was
for
my
a
whole
kid.
point. Like, if he has a good job, he has a woman who has also maybe a good job or a part-time job, whatever. But my whole thing is, if he is capable of taking care and raising up his children, that's why I was saying, his whole family structure, everything is intact because they're working as a unit to make sure that their kids, grow up to be successful or whatever the case may be. Why are we always sitting here saying, "Oh, he's irresponsible. He don't know what he's doing. He shouldn't have did that." Some kids are gonna grow up to be failures. But you got the white family on TV, like you just said, 1826 kids accounting, and her behind, they're just showcasing, hey, you know what? This is how it should be. When you just saying she's an average woman, she has to be a stay-at-home mom. The dad has to take care of everything. Like where is the structure in that? Because they're
I,
showcasing that, hey, this is the way to be. This is how you gotta live.
I would say,
uh,
I would
Shirley,
say,
is
is that
that
hatred,
you?
I
racism?
well, no, well, here's the thing about it. And I'm gonna pass it over to my homie, Shirley. What's going on there? How you doing, love?
I'm doing
Um,
good. I'm doing good. Yes, it's
I know
me.
you came at a good conversation, girl. Like,
It's so good to see
I had to bring you over for this one. I had to bring you over for this one. Uh, from my take as a conservative family man, and I know a lot of people. You're not a conservative family man. I am. I just that the thing about it is, I don't think like I can serve for that of my household, my beliefs, my thought process, my like my kids say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, like certain type of belief system. Like my kids went to church. Like I don't go to church anymore, but I still want them to go have them still integral Christian values that of what I was reared on. You understand me? Like their grandma picked them up to take them to church. The girls got on dresses. The boys got on nice little Sunday outfits. You understand me? Like there's certain systems of gates that you know me and their mother have set up for them of how we are for school, how we have certain intact systems. Like I want that to be for how the children are brought up and reared. Now, is it like that from a lot of black families? No. Sadly, a lot of black children are raised predominantly by their mothers. Is there some black fathers raising children? Yes, but you are not the majority. You are the minute minority. Majority of children are raised either by a single parent home or they're raised as a latchkey kid. These are
you
the
know,
things that we have to guess upon. They're facts that we can pull up.
you know,
Go ahead, Shirley. I know you definitely have some stuff. Go ahead.
if you look at neurological programming, NLP, which has to do with touch, feel, sight, and the mind, right? How you perceive or how you approach life or how you speak in how you live your life. If you speak in a life moment, like if you say, "Oh, it's so life is so bright and beautiful," well, they're a very visual person. But if they say, I have a feel for where I go and how I touch things, then they're a very physical person. Media and those who are in control of media wants to show how we need to be perceived, how women need to be perceived, how the black relationship seems to be perceived. And if there is a character or if there is an existence of a person who is popular that they can just blow up of a relationship that makes no sense to me. This woman's in her 40s and engaged for 10 years with this man for 12 years. I'm going to go back to what BMT said. Come on now, let's keep it real. Does he have to be really committed to you? He's not committing to you. He committed and he got a baby with you. He said in public that you guys show together, but on a real truth, on a real down low, this man was never committed to her. He never was committed to her, and she never was either. You're not gonna give up the coochie. They say don't give up the cow for free. You live that kind of life, where you think that people need to visually see you in a certain way, and in the end, you get bruised and you get lost. Why does media not show successful Black relationships? Why can't we show that? When and if they do it, they aesthetically don't meet the protocol, like a Denzel Washington. I'm just going to use a high profile Black person, or just Black people who may not be as popular but love each other and for what they have to be. I want to say one thing, and I'm going to shut off from there. BMT, you were so on point. You were so right when you said you have a situation where there's standards you have for your wife, your children, how they talk to you, how they address you. And if you have a situation where you have Nia Long, who's not even being respected, how you think her sons are going to respect women? Well, no, nobody respect my mom. This is how I was taught how a man should treat a woman. But again, media does this to our community. Media says every little Black boy needs to be a little Nas. Now, this little nigga came out, little cowboy song, didn't tell nobody he was gay. Made it with a well-known established artist, Billy Ray Cyrus, and didn't tell us he was gay. He's beyond gay. He's eccentrically gay. He's like, if I don't get any attention gay, I'm going to have a fit at award shows kind of gay. And then on the other side, if everybody know Black women are full figured, we got nice bodies, if some are thicker than others, but that's not the level they want to show a thick woman. Let's go to the level of a Lizzo, where your ass is hanging out, but she's talented. She's talented. Well, how many big talented women are there out there? There's a lot of them. How many normal weight? How many skinny? There's a lot of them. But then the media, again, this is how Black people get promoted. And people think, oh, that's how your people is. It's a lie. If a person chooses to be with someone for 12 years and didn't get a commitment out of him, he can do the hell what he wants. And you're going to deal with the recourses. That's what Neil Long's dealing with.
Right. And see, that's the thing about it. Like, the baby boy Jody contract has already been put out there, and I know we want to say, well, it's the media, but you can still make a choice, man. Like, come on, man. That's like you working a job for goddamn like goddamn like 5 years, but you never got a fucking paycheck. Can you get mad at the goddamn job anymore? Like, I wouldn't be able to say, "Well done, my faithful stupid servant." Like, nigga, you never thought at one time to ask for a goddamn like salary, a goddamn a name tag,
Yeah,
like,
but you talking about usury, right? People
right?
that
Like, so.
but they don't mind to be used. But you're saying, but for how long?
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it, Shirley. This is why I said when people saying that we need to go make Black families, I'm like, Negroes, y'all could get the family, but I don't think you would know what to honestly do with the family if you got the family. Because honestly, at this point, a lot of this stuff that is being like, listen, man, like I said, the political turnabout is coming. They're going to be start talking about the restructuring of education, the reformat of political policies, the
That's true.
grassroots policies, all this stuff. Why do you think they're doing the great shifts where they're setting people up? Oh, you thought they just getting sent to Martha's Vineyard? No, bro. They're trying to send, like, where can we put in displaced people? So when y'all say, hey, we got to give it to family, I'm like, first of all, where you at first? A man can't take on no woman if, nigga, you don't got your shit together. I'm gonna let y'all brothers know that right now. I know a lot of y'all think that well, I'm gonna get me a young bitch or a young woman. Excuse me, I don't want to disrespect no women. I'm gonna get me a young woman, the one that hasn't hit the wall, whatever kind of stupid shit. But no man logically ever says that dumb shit. If you talking about her hitting the wall, then you gonna hit the wall before she does. That's a fact. Most men's health problems are gonna show up faster than the women. Y'all Black men, y'all are dying faster than your woman is dying. Let that sink in. So y'all talking about the wall challenge. You're not living that long, man. I would be very curious on why would a younger person be interested in an older person. There's something psychologically off about that. This is not the 1830s, bro. Like, I understand back in the day, yellow fever and shit, but we're not there now. You used to look for a comparable mate that you can grow and design and actually mature with. So that way, hey,
Grow, design.
and I hear you, Mella. I'm not. That's what you talked about with compatibility. But people don't want compatibility; they want conformability. They want people to conform. But again, that's like if I can take a doggone screw rather than screw it in. I'm just going to take this hammer and hammer it in. I just ruined it. So you're seeing people. Granted, y'all gotta understand there will be another nation shutdown real soon. I hope you
But
understand that. That is
yeah,
inevitable. There will be another nation shutdown. They
as
already
far
start.
as
They already
yeah, I
start.
believe that. I believe that.
Meme, if I'm correct, they already started handing out EBT cards for kids. Correct?
And the
Mhm.
military personnel,
Like okay,
active
so
duty military personnel, are being given the option to apply for food stamps without um hindrances, right? And what that tells me is that the future is turning into more constraints, just like you've said.
so you so when we're saying this,
How in history does it make sense? Because you have to remember the cost of living increases that are granted by military, active duty military persons, and even those on other in other realms, but specifically active duty military. There's a cost of living increase, and what I suspect is going to occur is they just might condition active duty military members to accept they will no longer receive a cost of living increase because, by the way, you can be approved for food stamps. You know what I'm saying? It's getting that sinister out here. That's how sinister it's getting.
no, no, and you're right about that. That's what I'm saying. And I got to get over to brother Rob. That's why I said like I get people trying to have what about the family, but it's no good. Is I would ask honestly, is the family imagery properly represented when it comes to that of the political arena? Are you properly being represented? And what imagery or agenda is behind you when being talked about? Again, people aren't thinking of the longevity. Shout out to Brother Rob when he was talking about going alone, you'll go fast. Going with a family, you'll go longer. People are not thinking about that anymore. I heard a woman describe to me that having a child or having a baby in her womb is like having a parasite. That wasn't a thing women talked or said when they were young or when it back in the day. I ain't gonna say when they're young. Women didn't say that. Like, well, the child inside me was a parasite.
I heard a lesbian tell me that about 25 years ago.
Now, the thing
She
about it
was a
is,
co-worker, and there was a pregnant woman in our unit while we were working, and she said, "Congratulations on your parasite." I was so offended and taken aback. I've
you got
heard this as long ago as 25 years in a work unit where a self-confessed lesbian, she said, "Congratulations on your parasite." I was like, God, that's
but but,
cold-blooded.
but Mella, you got to think the voice that was silent and in the shadows back in the day has the loudest echo in the room today. You gotta understand that. I want you to think about that. The voice and when you're having it where the voice back in the day that was more silent is more like I hear the bravado. Well, men say when I get married, I want my woman to quit working, stay at home, raise babies. I'm like, nigga, are you crazy? Like, it is 2022. Do
But
you
you understand that that's planting a seed of contempt for life going
no,
forward. Like when a woman tells someone congratulations on your parasite while she's pregnant, there that's planting a seed of contempt
no,
for the idea that offspring are leeches. You know what I mean? And I just found it to be really like mouth punching worthy. Like I just it had
it,
it not been an illegal thing, I would have punched her in the mouth because she didn't need to just come out like that. She's a woman. Not only was she a lesbian or is a lesbian. I don't know what she is today. I don't know if she's burning in hell or whatever. What I'm saying is when she presented herself to be this outspoken person that kept telling these outrageous jokes, people got acclimated to it, right? Without realizing what she was doing, whether they realize it or not, the harmony disruption of her joke telling that was increasingly being accepted is conditioning. Conditioning. She was tilling the soil of the people in that unit to accept what would inevitably be a seed planted into that pregnant woman's mind that her child is a burden to her instead of a blessing. And that's the danger of just allowing anybody and everybody to talk the craziness that most likely has to do with their past traumas out of their mind. For all we know, that woman, she was probably told that she was a burden all her life. And so she brings it to the workplace and says, "Congratulations on your parasite." So these are the seeds that are planted by sick minded individuals who have yet healed from the trauma of their own childhoods. That's why it's important when I say the dynamics, the of compatibility is important, because when you know
Can we hear from
that
Bro
you're
Rob?
paired up. Oh yeah, brother Rob's on the panel. My bad. I could preach
Go ahead.
all day. My bad, brother Rob. Respect.
Go ahead. How you
Uh,
doing, bro? We do apologize.
it's Yeah, it's all good, love. I never would interrupt your wisdom, but I appreciate you allowing me to go ahead. Man, peace to everybody. Peace on this Sunday. You know what I mean? BMT, thanks for having me up. I ain't gonna be long. I just wanted to say, the topic, right? I had to bounce away for a second. I'm over here working a little bit on a Sunday, and I wasn't able to hear all of the dialogue. But the topic is near and dear to my heart because it's one of those things that I literally teach our babies. Cause see, the way that I look at it, family is a tool. Just like you said, BMT, earlier in the broadcast, I don't know how many times you have repeated it. But when you in a family, everybody got a job, everybody got a responsibility. You know what I mean? And marriage is the cornerstone of a family. And so, why is marriage so difficult nowadays? It is because we are challenging social norms that we already knew was the right thing. And because we have been sucked into this, illusionary world where if we participate just like our counterparts, you know what I'm saying, Caucasians, if you will, if we participate like them somehow, some way, we'll be accepted and be able to get, social mobility. This is a fallacy. This is a lie. This is not. It's not cipher. It's whatever you want to call as the wrong perspective. Listen, right? They call it a melting pot. It is not that by a long shot. You have to understand that. It's more along the lines of a salad. A crouton gonna be a crouton. Lettuce gonna be lettuce, whether it's romaine or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The shit is green, dark green, light green. You get what I mean, right? Those things stand apart, although it's a salad. You see what I'm saying? The cheese is the cheese, if you will. We have to go into this thing financially speaking, economically speaking, the way culturally we build our families. It has to be separate from the idea that everybody got as a family. Listen, right? You can look at the data. You can look at the data. Black folks are more successful at having families. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But we moving away from it because we want to challenge social norms and want to have, two women raising young men and women in a household. That shit not normal, y'all. It's new to the world. And because we so-called challenging that line, because grandma did it like that, don't mean we have to do it like that. Hey man, hey, you can learn a lot in a church. People be always banging up and beating up on the church. Hey, tradition is what keep culture alive.
All
Tradition
right.
is what keep culture alive.
All right.
And
Okay.
without culture, We are a mixed up people. We
What
don't
type
know
of
who we are.
tradition are you referring to?
I'm talking about having a regular nuclear family where you got a father, you got a mother, you got children, and y'all build a block club, then a block club build a community, and so on and so forth. But those types of traditions,
Yeah, the productive ones, right?
exactly. Where marriage is a productive tradition. That's what it is. It's a productive because you are doing what? You combining families. You combining incomes. Did people not forget? Hey, black folks are poor. We fucking poor. We need to stop acting like we winning. We losing, folks. We losing. Look at every financial metric. We are stronger together. That's why I put it in the chat. It's old wisdom because it's true. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far,
Brother
you
Rob,
got
wouldn't
to
you have
go
to admit
together.
Brother Rob, wouldn't you also admit that the media plays a big part of that? The
Oh,
persona,
yes,
how we're being perceived right now, and that
yes,
the
ma'am.
fact that.
I
Okay, so then my
absolutely
question to
preach
you is
that.
this: why isn't there more people like us with our platforms? There's others who have bigger platforms being able to get our side across because it's all by design.
I
Suppress
tell
the
you, sis.
power.
I tell you, it's been slowly building. See, like I don't know how long you've been on YouTube or been watching social media, right? But this has been a process. A lot of this foolishness that's mainstream now, we was against it from the beginning, always have been. Man, BMT done told y'all we been against this silly shit from the beginning. We told them nigga, follow your logic. That shit is stupid. It's going nowhere. Y'all gonna be exposed. What the fuck are you talking about? Y'all wasn't here for Stovegate. You see what I'm saying? Y'all wasn't here for that. It was one of the most embarrassing stories I ever heard, right? On social media. Man, Stovegate, motherfucking men getting exposed with dolls and shit. Man, I mean, it has been a shit show from the beginning.
What
And we've
is the
been against it from the
incentive?
beginning.
Okay, okay, let's talk about being human for a minute. What is the incentive that you would say drives someone to pay attention to the nonsense as opposed to what makes sense?
I would this is my simple answer to that. It almost seems like we are hardwired to look for the car crash.
How is that hard wiring? What's the origin of the hard wiring?
I would say that since the late 60s, um, um, it has been a media push to villainize the black community for their
This is what
poverty
Shirley had been saying, right?
and this it has been systematized. Every if it bleed it lead, that literally comes out of the late 60s news coverage. If it bleed it lead, and since then, villainizing us for selling drugs, although they are the ones that supply the drugs. Villainizing us for gangs and things of that nature, although gangs were formed for police brutality.
Right.
Villainizing us for anything and everything that you can think about. We've been villainized night over night in the nightly news.
Absolutely.
And so, because of that, it is now easy, it's normalized to see
Well,
black death and
yes.
to accept it as
Now
almost
that we
normal.
have, one moment, please. Now that we have the concept down packed as to what the problem is, right? It has been media influence that has tainted our image. And there's no need to go back and say, hey, and point the finger here, there, and everywhere. My concern is that everything has to be retilled. You know, when you till the soil, it has to be recultivated. And it starts with the children. It starts with the children understanding principles for living as opposed to impulses for living. And The impulses, because the impulses obviously are governed by media, and it is important, it is pertinent, it is urgent right now that we construct, develop, and navigate our children's mindset into
So,
understanding that media is not their friend for
so,
anything other than progressive research.
so let me hop
Preach
in real
and
quick,
preach
sis.
more.
This
Come
is
on, girl.
this is what I was gonna say to that. I preach this. Propaganda is a weapon. Propaganda is a weapon, and so what we need to do as content creators, faces on panels, things of this nature, what we need to do is we need to have positive propaganda. It needs to be strategic. Man, I challenge every content creator once a week, hey, romanticize the shit out of black folks for 24 hours. If nothing happens on social media but the romanticization of black folks in the media. Look at all these black families. Look at all these fathers taking their children to school. Even if we know it's a lie, right? If we continue to, and I see it every day, it's not really a lie. I'm just, you know, playing devil's advocate. Even if we know that some of these stories, we are overlooking some one of the sad stories of the day. Junebug got shot. I mean, just on that day, Junebug coverage won't be until the next 24 hours. We got to do it strategically, like, on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like nobody put no negative news stories out about black folk. Let's start there.
I would want to say, and I would want to say this. Um, the thing is, and I'm listening to y'all, is that of you're fighting the battle uphill. But I've done videos with me, with my kids at the bus stop, and different other conversations. Um, it's getting them to say, what do I gain coming off of one system onto your system? Because ultimately, it has to be a fair. It has to be a that of a viable uh, uh, process of something. Like you don't just take on a job as, well, I just want to do that job. No, you take it on, either you want to do it, or you want to pay, or you want the benefits. Taking on a family is a full time job. You understand me? Um, a lot of people, we're I don't want to lie to people and say that we're not dealing with that of a depression in America, and hearing that of a child crying in the background, dealing with an opposite mate. Come on now, we all been in a home. We all have viable experience. We all dealt with mates and stuff. If a person isn't psychologically built to deal with conflict, and I'm sorry, but a lot of people are not built to deal with conflict. They're not
That's a
conflict.
good point.
I don't want to walk y'all. Listen, it's easier to be a nigga than to be civil. You don't require much of a nigga. A nigga is no more than just a nigga. That's what they're required to. That's why the nigga shit is popping. Because I can take my mind off of that baby in the background. I can take my mind off of having to worry about if if Mimi is going to eat and the children are good. Being a accountable father, an accountable mother, it's not easy. I don't think motherfuckers actually understand, for better or worse. That's why most marriages don't even make it past 3 years. Because you got to think that a lot of people psychologically in today's time, especially after COVID, are not built for that shit. I would
What
like to, I would like to believe that, and y'all could say, "Well, let's train the children." Well, then I would ask you, what is the state of the children? Because young girls now are like, "No, I'm just going to go get my education." I
what
hear
are the
you.
principles that people can adopt to deal with conflict?
We'll see what are the principles that they can adopt to deal with conflict. See that? See, the thing about it is, and I would want to say, well, we could say it on the
Other than
YouTube.
comedy, like
Well,
every time we
no,
turn around, we laughing at somebody's pain.
listen, listen. That's a lesson you learn in the home, Mela. That's a lesson you will learn in the home. If people are trying to learn that shit on YouTube, I would say you need to go to a doctor. You need to go to a shrink. You need to go to a therapist. What Shirley teaches her children, Brother Rob, what KS or Mimi or Brother Speak or any of us teach our youngins, that's not a YouTube thing. That's a household thing. You understand me? Because anybody that raises a child or dealt with a child would understand that no child is the same. So some kids can handle that of some kids are passively aggressive, right, Brother Rob? While some kids are naturally just straightforward, they had to get in your face. Some people are easily triggered. While some people will, the minute they hear a woman scream, they shrink up and start reverting back to, I'm thinking about mama. A girl who hears a man saying, ah, it sounds just like my mama's boyfriend when he was in the house. Like, you gotta understand, man. Like, those are things. Like, it's like if you're trying to teach this lesson about family, I'm sorry. The dean will tell you you done missed the semester. You done. That's why I'm saying it's funny. You hear where goddamn transformers are telling you about family. Goddamn lesbians are telling you about family. Men that never even have a home are telling you how to deal with a woman. Like, at some point, I'm
I
learning the
like to
motherfuckers who
speak
have
on that
never
when
been
I
in the
get a chance.
household are telling how to run the household versus those who are in the household are like, listen, let me take my flock and shut the fuck up and y'all be good. Well,
Fire.
like I'm like, and I'm telling y'all, like, listen, man, at this point, you got to start doing like goddamn. You listen, man. Like where we're at now. This is why when y'all look at the political scale, nobody asks the state of the black community. If I want to see that, I'll go look at the 6 o'clock news. I'll go look at Disney Channel. I'll go look at UPN or Tyler Perry, because that right now, people are more so mimicking that of the perception of media than that of reality. You understand what I'm saying? Like their daddy was Martin, and their goddamn mama was whoever that fuck that woman was, Mrs. Parker. Like people are replicating shows, not Rob, KS, Shirley, and Mimi and Mella. They're not replicating y'all. Like trying to teach tangible things. Like this is what I'm saying, man. Like I'm watching the shit and I'm understanding that when you're trying to teach these things, this is why whenever they talk about the black community, your view of family is far been since skewed.
Mm-hmm.
Show me, show
And
me. Go
Let
ahead.
me
we're
go
not
ahead,
gonna
Melly.
we're not gonna excuse the fact that a lot of people have sat their children down in front of media devices such as television or video games. That was the babysitter in the formative years. And when a child in their formative years begin to adopt those media images into their consciousness, this is the result we have.
Well, I mean, the only thing I say, are you familiar with the doll test?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and so uh not only with media, it's again, it's a system, it's systematized. And even without media, right, it would still be understood at a certain age. They are believing, but around 5 or 6 years old, that as a black person in America, once you understand that you are black, right, you understand that, man, it's a negative image of who you are.
I beg to differ, only
Well,
because. only
Hang on,
because.
let
That's
me read
why
the
I
super
asked, was
chat.
you familiar with the test? That's why I asked.
Let me read the super chat. Shout out to SKC for the $2. Thank you, SKC. It's
Wow,
over, Prime. Throw in the towel, Rock. Fair
wow,
enough. Fair enough, Megatron.
wow,
Fair enough. Fair
wow,
enough. Fair
wow.
enough.
I
Um,
beg to differ only because what we have here is a system, as you stated. However, it's up to the parents to be intelligent enough to know that that system of influence, otherwise known as media, because I'm promising you that a child who has never been exposed to media at all, like at all, and they are sat in front of them a black child or a doll or a white doll. Let's take into account they've never been exposed to media at all, you know, and the child innately is going to choose what resembles that child. That is the default mode. When influence of media comes into play, that's when a child starts questioning everything that is disparaging about the messages that are sent against their image. And that's when they make the choice for the white dog.
now,
Well, I mean, I would just say I can't see a scenario where children in this society wouldn't be exposed to some type of media, and my solutions. That's why I present them and I try to make them as practical as possible. I think it's important that we look at the practicality of our situation. That way we can be a little bit more pragmatic in
I,
our approach.
it's called parental control. And I think a lot of us fail in the realm of parental control because
Mm.
we use media as a babysitter. We don't want to deal with the stress of life that it takes to conduct a livelihood in addition to the whims of a child. So we will sit that child in front of so called media. And in their formative years, they're being influenced by
I have a
media.
question. Now I have a question. Let me
Well,
ask this.
Speak didn't get a chance though. I want to hear
Okay,
from him too.
yeah, go ahead, brother. Speak. And I want to ask a question. I'm gonna throw this out here. There's going to be a law being passed. I'm not.
Yeah,
I want to ask this
go
question
ahead
before.
and ask your question, BMT, before I'll
Now,
speak to my question.
I want to ask the question. The men feel like their voices are not being heard, and the women feel like they're not being protected. The women feel like they need a protection bill. The men feel like they need a divestment movement. Where does family come into that? With those four deposits of a spectrum starting to actually mix and mingle, because now you're hearing that of a wave, and I'm throwing that to what Brother Speak, that hey, the women need to say that they want a protection bill, the men say they want to divest. The women saying that hey, we're the most heavily educated. The men say, guess what? We're the most disenfranchised, and that there's an agenda against us. I'm just asking. I'm throwing that out there.
All
Let's
right.
have.
All right. When it comes to women being
Hold on,
women,
Mela. Mela, I know you want that. Let Brother Speak go, and then I will let you go.
oh, I thought it was for everybody. My bad.
I know you want it, but let me let Brother Speak take at it first. Go ahead, Brother Speak.
There is no family in that because let's look at the whole thing. We remember that Fox sold when they were talking about should black women date out. What was the main topic of that? Black men. They still want they want to divest, but they also want to throw it in black men's faces that they're divesting. So that's no that in that conversation, family was not even brought up. It was still about black men, which means to tell me it's not about family, it's about their desire. Black men kind of the same way. They talk about well, we're being disenfranchised, but the tools to get your voices heard means stop focus on the women. You see that it's like it doesn't compute. And then when you talk about family, Well, I don't want to raise no of us as kids and child support and blah blah blah. So at the end, all there is no room for family in any of this. It's all about individual desires and how can I achieve that, and to say "f you" to the other side while I'm doing it.
Mm.
That's all it's about. It's not about family, not building up a family or anything. It's just like, hey, I want to do my own thing, and "f you." Oh, by the way, if I can make you pay for it on top of it, a plus.
It
I'll pass.
sometimes it's not quite as surly as that. Someone else wants to speak. We have a new panelist. I'll try to reframe my opinions. I'm gonna keep what you said in mind. I have something to say about my own father-in-law's experience, and I'll
Okay,
just yield the mic, please.
go ahead. What's up, conservative? Conservative, are you there?
Oh yeah, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me up. Sorry about that. Yeah, I kind of just came into the conversation a second ago, and so it's weird. Like right at the point I come in at, it almost is a little bit of a jumping off point from the conversation that I just had. The gender war, so to the extent that there is some kind of simmering conflict or some divergence in goals or opinions between black men and black women, I think the men need to lean into it. Men have to sort of embrace this thing. And I like the title of my entire show. I just spent like 4 hours. Not, you know how panels are. We go around in different subjects, but I spent a couple of hours, at least 2 hours basically, of laying out why black men should openly be against black women from a political standpoint. And like a lot of what you just said is a part of that reason. Like if we can go to court to fight to be in our children's lives individually, I think we can go to the voting booth to fight to like be at the center of the black family, physically and politically even.
Okay. Do you feel that okay, I want did anybody want to reply to that?
I think it takes more than voting.
Okay. We have a super
Agreed,
chat.
agreed. No, no challenge.
Um, oh, to what degree are you when you say politically? To what degree are you talking about? You just need legislation in terms of protection, um, like with the issue
Protecting
of
who?
child's rights, or are you saying like as a political bloc, black men and black women should be separate?
I think as a political bloc, we are sort of becoming separate, whether you and I like it or not. I think the pieces of the chessboard are moving in their own directions, right? So you sort
Um,
of take things where they are. So
let's
we come
be
into it, yeah,
I, the reason why I asked the question was because, politically speaking, no ethnic group could be considered taken serious if the men and women of that ethnic group, you have to appease both groups. Like it would be hard to try to appease both groups. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like when
But
you out on the campaign trail, you got to try to say something to appease Asian women and Asian men. That would be quite difficult to do.
that
It
would
would
only
render that
serve the
ethnic group
purpose.
kind of politically irrelevant, if you will. You
Well,
know.
Let me read
if hold on,
go,
let
David.
me respond to that really quickly though. If we can, my position is that the politics of this particular ethnic group, black politics, like I said, I just did a whole show on this, but black politics doesn't really serve black men. So why do I care if this thing fails? Like, what have you done for me lately?
So my response to that would be, um, in some way, politically speaking, in some way, agreement has to be made between the two parties in order to present one agenda. That's what has to happen. I mean that is
No,
the
no,
that is
no,
the
no,
norm in brother. That is
no.
the norm. Wait a minute, brother. That's the norm in politics now. That's the norm.
Let me
I'm
let me
offering.
read this.
No,
Let me
there's
read this
one
real
more
quick.
thing. You could
Let me do my super
fail.
chat
You
and then
can
I do
also fail without me.
let me say this. Shout out to SKC for the $5. Just be truthful. Black men and black women don't have the same political interests. Why play this game of family building with someone who is your political enemy? Shirley, you heard that, and Mimi. What are your thoughts on that one?
I got this one. I don't know what you people are talking about. I've been about politics in a long time. It is all divided by culture. If you understand how policies are put together, if you look at executive orders that have been put together, and when we talk about black and brown or Pan Africanism, I sit back and go, does anybody look at some of the policies that are put together specifically for people who are Korean, people who are Chinese, specific islanders? Wasn't enough of them, so they had to align themselves with Chinese. The Japanese who gotten special allocations allocated to them. Not in any of those proposals do they say we want to separate ourselves from our women. You don't hear that madness, but you
Get
have
them, Shirley.
you have white media, you have white liberal women, and these black liberal men who don't want black pussy, they want other pussy, and then they say black women don't want black men. That's some bullshit. It's bullshit what you're talking about.
Your pussy's still
I'm one of
valid.
the hardest, loudest conservative women on this platform. One of the hardest and loudest. Look at my numbers, Google my name. So and my dad was black. And my brother was black. So, and if a black woman have children by another person, guess what? That woman's children are still black. The Jews say that's why they love Drake, because Drake's daddy's black. The Jews say that boy ain't black. He's a Jew. So guess
No, they
what? He
love
get
him because his
all the
mom is
Jew people
Jewish.
benefits. Look, he get all the Jew people benefits. We as black people have to understand there's not policies in place to protect descendants of slaves. There's nothing in place to help us move forward because
We
the minute
don't
someone else
practice
to the
the
left rejects
blueprint.
civil rights. Go ahead, sister.
Right. We don't practice the blueprint that has already been demonstrated as a prototype. What we choose to do is become distracted by media. That's what we choose to do. We practice escapism when we should be handling our business. It's not about agenda war. It's about handling our business.
And
Mm,
standards. What is the standards that media want to support? I told you Lizzo is the new black woman. That's the full figure queen. Really, bitch? Okay, that's what you think. Okay,
mm.
oh
Yep.
Nas, little Nas is all over the place, and everybody protects that aspect and that class of people. What about the rest of us who call ourselves more normal or everyday fighters in everyday life issues? Those black people are not popular. Those black people don't make the media because they don't have the financial resources behind them. The reason why immigrants and illegal immigrants are getting empowered and infused is because the federal government gives them money, gives them jobs, and gives them housing. In the meantime, your black leaders have failed you, your black church leaders have failed you. These so-called elected leaders who happen to be black don't represent black people. So who represents us? And many of us have had voices on the platform, but yet we're not popular. So to make a statement that we need to have black men policies and woman policies, that's confusing and that is
And
wrong.
it's
I've never
exactly, it's
made that
confusing,
statement. No, no, no. I've
abstracting.
never made that statement, by the way. I don't support gendered
We're not
policies. My
saying
my
you made
approach
that
to that is
statement.
not
We're
what you
just
just said.
Yeah,
talking.
Okay,
that's
fine.
It's just implied. It's just implied with the statements of we have different political interests and not leaning in on we need to find a way to work together. It seems separatist. It's
All right.
implied
Can you
as
spell out
separatist.
the political
I just
interest that differentiates black women from black men?
I just sort of did a whole stream about it, and so I mean, obviously you weren't
Can you
there, you
spell
wouldn't
it
know.
out
But
real quick now, please?
one of
Yeah,
the
just
things
some
that I
main
think
points, bro.
Top.
Well, one of the things that I think will actually sort of help black men going forward is this issue of like identity politics. We're not going to win playing this game. This game is almost designed for the women to come out on top because who is a bigger victim between men or women, right? Women could always play that card and win. So I think for black men going forward, especially when you're trying to lean on the right, you have to drop the identity game because that is kind of a power base for a lot of these. Like when I say vote against black women, I'm kind of talking about voting against the way black politics is, this whole identity focused bullshit. So when you talk about like all these other groups that you mentioned that get protected and get supported, it's because for a long time their base of support was like black politics. Like we play the identity game to the fullest. And when
So
you see who's actually getting the protection, it's not us as men. So what I'm saying is if we pull out our support from that, this whole thing doesn't need a it might die without us, but it doesn't need us to go forward. We can do better
so
without that, without being attached to that.
I got
Now,
you, bro. So check it out, right?
Let me
My,
read the
my
super chat. Let me read the super chat real quick. Shout out to the next $5 super chat. Dig Thug, sent a $5. I keep hearing from the ladies that black men are the only ones separating from their women, as if this space wasn't started by whites as well. Um,
Mm.
I would I'm looking at that of because I want to focus on that of like I said, and the title was always about making family is not going to fix black society. It's a tool, and I use it because family is a viable tool.
yeah,
Now, if you're thinking that hey, let's just make a bunch of families, understand this. If you make a family and you don't know how to properly utilize that of your family, like if you like understand this, like whether like your vote, your talking points, your ideals, your philosophies. If you don't have that kind of mindset, then literally, well, the community needs to build families. No, individuals have to build families, and the families have to have a collective of an agreement that hey, man, like you do this and I'll do this, and we'll have a meeting of an agenda. The Johnsons and the Hussars, we're not going to always agree. They might want to
Mhm.
paint their house purple. I might want to paint my house green. Listen, bro, that's messing up my
Okay.
house value. Okay, cool, but listen. But I know one thing: when it comes time to doggone wash clothes or do certain stuff, listen. Let's go hit up Mother Shirley. She can make some damn good pies. Brother Rob, he knows how to fix a tire. I'm
Okay.
telling y'all, it's the bargaining agenda that we don't have with the tools. Like
Okay.
again, making kids ain't going to be that's going to set y'all back. I'm not saying I'm against that. Listen, I got plenty of churn, but I'm telling you, looking at how it was from the first shutdown, I'm looking at going further on into what the politics and agendas are going. Your family tool is the weakest one in the system.
That is not true. The way policies are prescribed and created in this country to help other people elevate, that's why you see certain cultures of people that dominate, like the people from India have now bought all these hotels up. People from Iraq have all the gas stations. People who are Latino control all the construction industry. There were policies in place for those cultures of people to tap into. And how did it affect the family? It didn't say it was a policy for a black woman or a black man. It said a culture of people. And that culture of people evolves to make a family, which is what I believe is black family first. If you're gonna say being BMT, we feel like we family. We've been on panels together and other shows we may not agree on. Me and Art feel like we family. Then and sometimes me and BGS agree or disagree or family. But if anything, we understand what the legitimacy of family is when it comes with money. If you want the federal government to give us as a culture of people money, and forget about not just reparations. Let's put that aside. Look at the bylaws and the categories of existing. You just look at them of existing protocols that are for other cultures and people. Just take their name,
Yes.
put our name in, and put it
Their
back on.
name is on it.
That's it. Just take their name off and put yours in. When they say Pacific Islanders, when they say Chinese, when they say Japanese, these people have something specific for them. Take their name out, put your name in, throw it back in front of the president, and say what makes them different than me, and get
And
that
what
together.
it takes is money.
Come on,
Okay.
man.
That's what it takes. And when we can't get together and we're sitting up here fantasizing about being outside of our culture by, intermingling with other people, that's a distraction. The focus is really, really tripped out, right? It's, you know,
No, I mean you're right on the point when you said it's about culture and money. If you look at the fact that now these people have been here so long, they have banks, they have markets, and then they have stores. Oh, now all of
because
a
they
sudden
don't detract from
from their people.
procreating within their like they are committed to their
yeah.
culture and their strength in
You
Hey,
numbers.
ladies,
let's make
you're
this real
So
misstating the
simple.
argument,
when we
ladies.
go
It's
Let's
not
outside of
make
our
simply because they
culture,
love their women. It's because their women are bought into a certain system as well. Their women are cooperating with the culture as the men set
so
forward.
it's
The
you
about
men
know
make
what? You know
cooperation.
sacrifices,
what?
What
but the
I
makes you
women
just
do as
think?
well.
I'm gonna let you
What
go.
makes you
Let
think
me
that
say
black women
let
aren't willing to
One
cooperate?
at a time. One
let
at
me
a time. Go ahead, one at a time, y'all. Go ahead. I
The
just
fact that you asked me what makes me think black women aren't willing to kind of denotes that they currently are not, and that is the problem. So when you say those men operate in the culture, those women are not free of that culture either. How is it? Why is it that only the black man is asked to sacrifice to make the community or the family better? Like,
No
what does the
one
black
asked
woman
you
have
to
to sacrifice
sacrifice.
besides her womb?
No one asked a black man to sacrifice anything.
I mean, that's literally what you just mentioned when you said what those
No,
men
I
do.
No, no,
actually,
she didn't, bro.
I did
No, no. When
not.
you mention what those Indian
No,
men do, what? So the black men is it not asked to
I'm
do
talking
something
about
similar?
commitment
You
to your
start talking about
culture. That's all I'm
right
talking
commitment
about.
to their women, commitment to their
Commitment
women.
to your
Right.
culture.
Okay.
no, no.
Okay.
Look, I'll be real simple. Sometimes we speak about the problem in great detail with real, a real comprehensive, deep dive search into it, and we don't spend enough time talking about the solution, right? I'm gonna tell you the flat out
Actually, I
truth.
have talked about the solution.
I'm gonna tell you the flat out truth. Here go two solutions. We don't need a law. We don't need a protest. We don't need none of that. That's all we need. Two things. We need to be prejudiced with our money, and we need to be prejudiced with our love. We do those two things. Hey,
Exactly. Commitment to your
I'm talking
culture.
about overnight.
Well,
The economy will have to readjust,
even
you know things that we would need to have social mobility. It would be looked at in a way more serious strategic way. I just
Nope.
feel like we
I'm
sitting
a
on our
I'm,
solution.
Brother
That's all.
Rob. I appreciate your passion and your truth. And I agree with you on the two things. Mama
I,
disagrees with you on that one. At this point in American history, they are leveraging money of other cultures against you. So we can spend our own money with our own people. We can invest our own money in everything that we do. If someone is leveraging another culture of people financially over you, growing in your communities, taking your businesses over, California's down to 4 to 6% blacks. When you have those dynamics, how do you come out of that? Okay, let's all love, walk in love. That ain't happening. And then I want us all to spend our money together. That ain't happening. So the ones
I
that will give it, hold on,
oversimplified.
let me finish my thought. I agree with you. I'm not saying what you're not saying is good and that's truthful, but I want you to have a reality that if you have people who are from Ukraine right now who are moving into LA and they're giving them 42, 4,700 enough money enough to live in an apartment, and you got black brothers and sisters on Skid Row. How is that fair for a descendant of American slavery to not be taken care and compensated, but somebody else is? And then when they get here, they give them money to start businesses. Oh, I used to be a doctor or a nurse, or I used to cook in Ukraine. I'm gonna start a whole Ukraine community like the Salvadorians did over there near the Griffith Park. And how the Koreans made off the black woman's head. Now they got a whole Koreatown downtown LA. These people cultivate and create their own bad version of Epcot. So I love what you're saying, but unless there's policies in place to leverage us in a financial mobility way, not only out of our own pockets, but from federal government, I think that's where you'll do better.
I
We
think
Exactly. Our
I
I,
think it
children
I'm
needs
gonna
to
have
be
to
just say
said
this.
establish.
I'm gonna just
now
say
hold
Our
on,
this.
hold on,
when,
children.
when,
now hold on.
when
I
you
don't want to
mention
lose.
immigration, black
Yeah,
women vote for the Democrats who are the party of immigration. That's why I frame it the way I frame it. There is a core reality. When it comes to black men and black women, there are some realities we should not ignore.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough, conservative. And like I
can
said, the main thing, like I said, is
I
because
ask a question?
hang hang on, brother, speak. But I also got D Rail here too. Again, I want to make sure that we don't leave and we keep this all in the back of our head when we're answering, shooting out these questions. On, I want you all to all remember: are we making the fam? Is making the family? Is that going to be the end all to fixing black societal issues? Have we all started chipping in on fixing these families, or is it just a talking tool or a
It
viable
doesn't
tool?
have to be just a talking tool. There's
Uh,
innovation that we can cultivate our children for, where we
gotta
develop.
have kids first. You gotta have kids first, Mella. And let's be honest, men and women aren't trying to have children like that no more. So right there, having children, one, you would have to have the children,
Well,
and
there's a
two,
sense of discouragement in the air when it comes to these young people.
well,
They
hold
are
on.
discouraged from believing that everything's going to be all right if they get married and have children. That
Okay,
has developed as
Yeah.
a mindset amongst young
Wasn't that a
people.
lie though?
let me read the $10 super chat shout out, and I got to give it over to Dieterell. I hear people throw the term culture around, but when I ask them what is black culture, all I hear is food and music. Please tell me what is left of said culture. Welcome, D. Darrell. Welcome to the panel. We're having this dialogue. We have a very, very amazing, multifaceted panel that I'm truly enjoying with Mela the Second, Shirley Hazar. I'm a Negro, Brother Rob, Mimi, the producer of 4 BMT production channels and podcasts, Brother Speak, and the Hood Conservative, as well as yourself, D. Darrell, the dating coach, and the conscious clientele. Welcome. Go in, and have a good conversation.
What's up, brother? Happy to be here. Happy for you to have me on. I definitely wanted to
Happy
chime
always.
in into the conversation. Uh, Again, I hear this topic, um, and I think that at this point we're having these recurrent arguments, and I would like to focus more on the solutions.
I
As
would
far
as
as
well.
I mean, the fact of the matter is this: gender war like conversations, blaming one another. Black woman did this, she didn't do this, he didn't do this is meaningless and is not the experience of the majority of black people in this country. And again, we got people coming up here derailing conversation to create a narrative that does not that is not necessarily representative of the of our total aggregate in our population.
When
The
you say
average
coming up here, you mean on this panel?
Hold on, Mela. Hold on. Let him talk. Let him go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dieter.
okay. So when we look at issues, I'm gonna say this as a person who has treated black families, black couples, black married couples. Some of these talking points and different things that are talked about, those are not the issues that these people face when they come into my office for therapy. They're not working on. They're not talking about someone's not feminine enough, and you need to be more submissive, and all of these different things. We need to work, and you need to fall in line. And the black woman, she got her own politics. Since when? When did she have her own? The black man has his own politics. When did he have his own politics? Historically, give me instances in which black men profited or benefited without black women. Give me situations in which black women benefited significantly without black men. We are stronger together. We're failing because we at this point are not together as much as we need to be. And once we realize all of this back and forth about who is doing the harm the most, it's not positive. It is not effective in doing anything for our community. I would like to, and I'm gonna challenge you, BMT. I think sometime I know you talked to me about doing these Sunday shows and so on. What about having conversation that is that in which we look at it from a lens of solutions only? We already understand how often, how many times do we have to continue to have conversations about who did what, when, and how the worst, and they're the problem. Okay, I think at this point in these spaces, we've talked about this for years and years. I would like to hear a show that strictly talks about solutions. Solutions from an objective standpoint, not from a subjective standpoint, from a practical standpoint, not from an idealistic standpoint. And because
Right.
this is to me, it's redundant, and it's the same people that I see in the chat on the panel, particularly come in derailing conversation, bringing it
It's
upon this and finger pointing, and it's the same. It creates the same atmosphere over
it's
and over
becoming a
and over and over.
pastime when you think about it. It's
I,
becoming a pastime as opposed to um forward thinking solution building. correct?
You know
My
this
thing
calls
is that
for a
I
response at
would
some
like to
point,
hear
right?
people like SKC, who actually is working against the black family, who actually worked against the black family, but want to talk about the preservation of the black family. I want to challenge is that hood conservative,
Yeah.
who has not given us any solutions, but he
I came
constantly is
out with a
giving us blame.
solution.
And from an objective standpoint, when you all can begin to have shows that can focus on that, I think your credibility can increase. Until then, it's just a minstrel show. It's just a minstrel show of you constantly
This is
saying the
very
same
racist of
talking
you.
points over and over and over again. And my thing is, what has that done to bring the black community closer and closer to each other as you claim it should be? How are those talking points creating any bonding or any improvements as far as bringing black women closer to black men and
All
black
right.
men closer to black women? It hasn't done
Conservative,
so.
you're being pointed out as a town crier. What do you say about that?
Okay,
I'm
I
pointing
would
out
love
as
to
what?
respond. Yeah, if you're not done,
No, I'm
please,
not
by
done.
all
I'm not
means.
done. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
done.
didn't think you were
I'm
done.
not
I
done.
didn't think you were
I'm
done.
not.
Go
I just
ahead. I
told
know
you
you
I'm not
got.
done.
Say it with your
Brother,
chest
One
while
at a
you at
time.
it.
can you
One at
calm
a time.
down? Can you please calm down, hood
Dude,
conservative?
I'm trying to be polite to you.
Can you
Don't get
calm
all
down,
salty.
please,
I'm
sir?
giving you
Can
the
you
mic back.
relax?
Let him
Please
finish.
relax.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
So my thing is, I'm looking for solutions, and to me, am I getting on the panel? And as I'm here, I'm going to speak from a perspective of solutions, solutions only. I'm not about blaming anybody for anything, because last time I checked, we're black people as a whole, and if there's a policy that is against us, if it's against one sex, it's against the other sex. It has a negative influence on both of us. There's not a situation in which, oh, it helps her but it hurts me. That does not exist. That doesn't exist on the local level. It doesn't exist on the state level, and it doesn't exist on the federal level. So at this point, give me some solutions. I'm willing to discuss solutions.
Okay, and that's fair enough. I do know when it was me and originally Mimi on the panel, we were talking about before one starts a family, you have to take care of oneself first. Does that sound logical? Like a man can't talk about I want a family or take on a woman and child, and you don't have your own stuff together. I would say psychologically, it takes prep, and even then you don't foresee everything's going to happen. Um, you got to have stuff economically. Being able to have a compatible resolve with that woman. I don't think people fully understand that of for better or for worse. Um, it's not easy. I deal like right now. I've been going to the kids' schools. One of my daughters, she deals with dyslexia. Okay, that means we have to be more hands on. I can't just sit back and just say, "Well, that's the mother's job." No, it's the parent's job to make sure that my child does not fall behind. You understand? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that I hear the narrative. I understand what you're saying. Like, I hear the narrative of the romanticism of people talking about, well, back in the day, but we're living in 2022 of modern times. And so, and when I hear people talk about these things, about I don't see men and women, of our counterparts coming down to the schools like they should, getting involved with the grassroots. And I'm not just talking about when it's a racial thing. I'm talking about like dealing with taxes, dealing with that of like the county, the local is going to affect you faster and harder before the national do. That's what's really going to eat you up. If you're not privy to stuff like that, like hey y'all, what's going on? Like what y'all minimum wage? Is y'all minimum wage being handled? Like if y'all handling y'all zoning? Sometimes there's certain stuff where they bring up policies about bringing in certain foreign policies into your town or your city. Are you aware of that or your district? Um, if you can't if you can't holistically tackle those issues as a family unit or as a group, I don't know how long it's gonna last. And we're seeing that where now it's this infighting. If you can't
Correct.
properly actually have these kind of conversations. Like those are conversations you should be having
At some point, I need to
before.
respond, BMT.
Yes, no. I am. I'm just responding back to what it was before y'all all came. Um, like if you're not having those kind of conversations before you get, I don't know, involved with the woman, I would hope to God y'all have these kind of conversations. Like, what's your political belief? What's your religious belief? How do you feel about children? How many children you want to have? What's your education? If it's about how big your ass is or how much money you make or let me see your penis pic, I don't know how long y'all gonna
Or
last.
just bickering in general. The bickering, there's a priority placed in these spaces for bickering as opposed to forward thinking and solution provisions, right? Solutions to how someone can conduct a livelihood outside of like how many views I get on my channel. And that's the conundrum. When it comes to these spaces, let's not forget that a lot of people consider this their source of livelihood. So they have to accommodate what is most prevalent of popular want, right? And that becomes a problem because when you have a lot of ignorant people that would rather hear the bickering, you see the numbers growing, and you're a channel holder or owner or whatever you want to call it, a content creator, I guess that's what you all call yourselves. When you see those numbers growing for conflict as opposed to constructive roadmaps and paths of interest that would improve us together, then your livelihood is going to dictate what you accommodate. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, but thank
Okay.
you about that.
Now, when I first joined the panel and I made comments about black men openly sort of turning against black women on a political standpoint, what I'm getting at is the problem that you guys say you want to solve. I mean, we've never really been in a moment politically where men had to even ask the question about like voting against our, quote unquote, our women. But I have to ask, to the extent that, black women have gained all this new ability and they have all these new freedoms or whatever, black men do have the right to ask, what have you done for me lately? Black men do have the right to ask, listen, if women want such and such, that's what women want, fine, but what that got to do with me? Like, men do get the right to be selfish to a certain degree. And frankly, when it comes to like, as far as the idea of the black family being some kind of solve to these problems, I think that the only way to really have the black family come back together in any functional way is to solve the question of what do you do with the men, because you can't have black families do what you say they need to do and only expect the men to be in some kind of serving role. I think nature kind of showed us the way. The men kind of have to reassert themselves. This is what I say about being willing to openly vote against the black women, because it's not that you don't want good things for her. It's that she's not going to do good things for you. And so on that level alone, you are political opposition. And if you want to actually save the family, then the man has to be willing to, wage a little bit of a battle to reclaim his position in the family. And I'm arguing this from a legal standpoint, from a political standpoint, because the
Right.
personal is that women have, black women are their own political bloc. Black women have their own dreams, hopes, and desires, and you can see that borne out in the family formation problem here. Women don't want the same thing that men want. Black mothers don't want the same thing as black fathers, and so when you ask questions
Where do
about how
black
to
women
actually
have
get
their
to the
own
problem,
political bloc? I'm gonna cut you off right now. I'm sorry, and I apologize for that.
what
Tell
have
me
you
how
done for me lately?
no.
Brother, your
Hold
stance
on. You
has
see where
One
no.
at a
Janet
time. One
Jackson
at
is
a
from. I'm
time.
not
One
talking
at a
One
about
at,
time.
Janet Jackson. I'm talking about
Mela,
real young
please.
Town
women.
crier is trying to speak.
Mela, you were
Go
asking a
ahead, hood
question.
conservative, the town crier. Go ahead.
No, someone was asking about when have black women had their own political bloc, and I'm looking at the Democrat Party and I'm asking, what have you done for me lately?
I'm not a
Are you
Democrat.
are you serious? Over 80+% of black men vote the Democratic Party. What are you talking about?
What have you done for me
No, but over
lately?
80% of black men vote vote
And what
Democrat.
have you?
No,
Dude,
but
is the mic broke?
that's the question
It's a
is
question,
the
bro. It's a
question is
goddamn question. Telling me how
how can
often
it
we
be a
vote
One at a
Democrat
female
time.
don't
a
answer the
black female
question.
orientated
We've done let you
as far as the
distract
political
yourself.
group, when over
That's what
85% of
that's
black
what
What
has
men
have
vote
you
happened.
done
Democrat.
for me lately?
That
We
makes
have
no
done
sense.
let you distract yourself.
Okay.
Because
Wait.
while black women are actually being active legislatively, black men have distracted themselves with these circular arguments. That's
Okay,
what
so
has been
nothing,
done for
right?
you lately. We have
Nothing.
allowed
Thank
you
you.
to
Thank
conduct your
you.
circular arguments. That's
Thank
what's been
you.
done for you lately.
Let me get it over to Shirley. Shirley, are you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you.
The
Go ahead.
bottom line is if you're going to continue talking about black women and black women, they're going to get nothing black done.
Facts.
Conservative, I understand where you're coming from, but this is where I differ from you. I'm gonna go back to what Dee was saying. I know that's not. Is DL? Is
D.
Darrell?
Durrell.
Okay, D. Darrell stated the point that what's the difference between a conservative Republican and a conservative black woman, or a Democrat black man and a Democrat black woman? They're still supposed to stand behind the policies, period. So when you talk about situations in the Democrat Party, it's black and black women. The CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, consists of black women and black women. Black men and black women who created these policies and allowed privatized prisons and everything to that nature. So you can't separate the Democrat black woman from the Democrat black man when the numbers show you the unity in the vote.
That
Facts.
unity has not benefited the black man. That's why I keep
It
asking,
hasn't
what have you
benefited
done for
black
me
people as
lately?
a
But
whole,
And
it
none
hasn't
of
brother.
my
benefited
It's
black
not
detractors
women.
can
about
answer
colors,
the
it's about
question.
race.
Oh my
None of my
God.
detractors have
This
a
is a
positive answer
convoluted. See,
to the
this is how the
question, mind you.
conversation becomes convoluted and fruitless because
It's convoluted when a black
we're
man
It's
having
wants
the
a
something.
circular
discussion that is
arguments
not
that he's
based on
stuck on
realism.
the circular argument
This is not based
How
on
is it
realism.
circular to want something from
because
you?
It's
you're not
idealism.
thinking
Listen,
forward.
you as a
You're
woman,
not
as
No need
thinking
to
black
yell.
women,
forward.
No need
you
to
You're just
have
yell.
your
No need to
political
complaining.
yell.
goals.
You're not thinking forward.
I am thinking forward. I'm
No,
thinking
No,
you're
about
you
not.
are not.
myself, moving forward. In the future, I
Moving
want
forward, hood
something.
conservative.
I
If you
want
want to be on an
things.
island by yourself with these demonic ideas by yourself, they will not be. Those ideas will not be co-signed by 85 to 90% of black men. There's only a
Right. So a
small
black
percentage
man
of
asking
people who
for
have an
what?
incel like perspective of life
Right now, you
that
butt
are going
hurt.
to agree with
Now your
you. You're going
feelings
to be
hurt. It's obvious
powerless.
your
You're
feelings
going to be
hurt.
bitter, and you're going to complain with no
So
solution.
so a
You
black
have
man
not. I
wanting
just talked
something for
about
himself
solutions.
is incel
Name me
behavior,
one
right?
solution that you would
Put a black
identify,
man
sir.
putting
Can
himself
you give
first
me
is
one
incel
solution?
behavior. D. Durrell, how much
Give me
experience
one.
do you have with
Nobody said
incels, D.
that.
Durrell?
Give me
No,
How
one
much
hold on.
experience
solution
do you have with
with
Wait.
incels, D.
incels.
Durrell?
Give me one
Let's
solution.
stay on topic. Let's stay on topic. I want to
Give
stay on
me
topic.
one solution in hood
Why
conservative.
can't a
Give me
black
your
man want
solution.
something for himself?
Give me
I'm
your
giving you the
solution, sir.
solution.
Sir, give me your
Listen,
solution.
black men need things for
Give me
themselves,
your
just like
solution.
black women say they need things for themselves, right? Black
Give me
men
your
want their
solution.
things. They want their solution. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm getting me tongue tied thinking like you now. Listen,
No, you ain't
the
thinking of
black
like me.
male has a different platform. We have different requirements from politics than black women. We
And what's
need to
that?
accept that and move forward.
And what is that?
Okay.
It's no action
I don't have a
apparently.
different requirement than black women. I require
Okay,
the
put it
same
like
things that
this.
she requires because we're
Put it
together.
like this.
We're not
We
separate. We're
aren't
together.
together. We aren't
We
together.
are together. We are together. We always will be, no
Wait.
matter what.
Let me ask both. Let me ask each side. So the ones that say that we're not together, what what is it that the black man wants? Can you give me two things the black man want that you can think of?
I'll give you three things real quick. It's like I said, I did a whole show on this the other day. I narrowed it down. There's a lot I could probably mention, but I narrowed it down to three broad things: family court reform, and immigration reform, and entitlement reform.
Okay, so city court. Okay, so family court.
Family court, yeah.
Okay, family court, and then what else?
Immigration reform,
Immigration reform,
entitlement reform,
entitlement reform, and there's a such thing as entitlement reform or
the
entitlement.
welfare state.
So you're saying the welfare state. So you want that welfare state, immigration, and doggone family court. Okay,
Yeah, three
D.
simple
Durrell.
areas we could
So,
attack.
so I'm going to say for black men, which is basically relative to black people, because what's good for black men is good for black people. What we should be pushing for is equal protection under the law. We should be pushing for uh, uh, better access to capital so that we can become as a community more entrepreneurial,
There
and
you go.
also and also the fact that we're pushing for better education within areas of the country that are highly density related to black people, as far as better education where there's stronger pockets of black people, particularly in the inner city
Absolutely.
and the south. That's what we should be pushing for,
Absolutely.
and that's relative to black people, not just black men in itself.
So let me ask Mela and Shirley. Do y'all do the black women? Do y'all have any voting policies that are like different or differ that are separate from what the men want or what families want or no?
No, I do not.
Shirley?
No, that's not how policy is made. If I wanted it that way, I
Facts.
couldn't. That's just not how policies are constructed in this country. So when someone gives that proposed thought on the table, I go, okay, you obviously not knowing how policies are put together. But hey,
Okay.
to
And,
each
and
his
so,
own.
and so BMT, I just want to add in addition to this, um, when we're talking about entitlements, I mean, we got to understand that we're not the biggest, uh, uh, I would say, beneficiaries of entitlements. So there's this whole notion of saying as if black women are this great beneficiary of entitlements is wrong. It's white people. It's white women. Matter of fact, ex Brett Favre. Look what he benefited from. Nobody's talking about that. You stole over 70 million. Along with he and the governor
Talk
of
about it,
Mississippi,
bro.
all the money that they stole from the welfare system, which to me may be relative to other states that
And
this
they
type of
swept
stuff is
that
going
under the
on.
rug.
We're
But the
not we're
brother,
not as black people. We're not the greatest beneficiary of those entitlements. So what are you reforming? You think they're gonna listen to your reform to reform themselves out of the money that they're already stealing? Are you serious?
Okay.
So what are you reforming? Please help me understand that.
he wants black men to be prioritized as
No,
receiving the capital, I guess they call it sponsorship or whatever,
hold on,
the
hold on.
legislation that makes the black man the priority of receiving capital investments.
I
Hold on.
actually wouldn't. I wouldn't offer anything like that. I don't typically offer racial specific programs or policies, so that's never how I
Why
really
not?
approach things.
So,
Because
so,
that's not
so
how
but more
I
about
approach problems. I
you do
think things are a little
understand
Well,
bit.
then
that
you don't have a
I
hold
reality
on.
Wait, 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 wait,
listen,
wait, wait.
listen,
Allowing the
We're not
enemy
listen,
to
jumping.
stand on
Grace
top
listen.
and
of
We're
the
not
principle.
jumping.
mountain.
I thought both of you had a
We're
question.
not jumping. We're not jumping on this panel. We're gonna have. We are adults. We can have a cordial conversation, different from each other. We don't want to do that. Let's keep that animal shit away. We got Free Zone up here. Free Zone, welcome to the panel. We're
What's
talking.
going on, everybody? What's going on?
Go on. What's on, man? Go on in, Free Zone. What's your intake
Can
on?
can well, in regards to the conversation, I think families are absolutely necessary. It's not the end all be all, but it is a huge piece of the solution. But how about a solution of bringing back the same '94 crime bill that got all these criminals locked up, so that the crime rate could go down and people could bring their businesses back into the black community, and the black community can somewhat make a bounce back and flourish.
Are you serious? That is the dumbest. That
Here
is
we
the
go.
dumbest perspective. You mean the same 94 crime bill that
I
locked
thought
up
we
a
weren't
bunch of
going to do
black men?
animal
Are
stuff
you
up here.
serious?
There we go.
Are you that actually
No
I
that is
mean,
animal
actually
stuff.
clearly
part of the
one
reason
person
we're in
has
the
a
No
state
animal
we're
problem.
in
stuff.
now? Are you are
There
you
we
are
No,
go.
you kidding me?
There we
no
go.
animal stuff.
This don't even make sense.
He called that man stupid. Isn't that an animalistic type
Yeah,
of
you're making
behavior?
black people look
That
bad.
is. That
Well,
is.
okay,
That is.
well I
I
made
don't
them
see
look
what's stupid
bad. So
about it.
what?
I don't see what's stupid about it. Like if you have high crime
It locked up
in your
black men
I don't
that
care.
didn't,
So
particularly a bunch of black men that didn't commit the crimes and they were over
Oh,
prosecuted. What are you
that was
talking
okay.
about?
tough. That
Free
was
zone.
Hey, it
terrible.
is
But
what
so
it
Can
is,
what?
I say
bro.
something real
Say
quick?
what you
Free
say. What
zone.
you say. The crime
Free
rate
zone.
went
No,
down.
that's
I
what happened.
There's
We're
some
living the
bias
residue of that
facilitation going on
crime
right
bill
now.
as we speak.
There we go.
We're
BMT.
living the
that proves the
'94
point that
crime
what
bill is one of the
You
administration
reasons
put
the
being
that
black
real
law in
community is in the
biased to
effect?
position it's
allow
in
these
now.
brothers to argue amongst each other.
Thank you,
I,
Miller. And Miller is
I
actually
think
being fair
bias is
about
a
that.
weird word, but only one
Oh, but
person is being disruptive here.
okay. So let's listen.
Maybe that is bias too.
Okay, so here's the thing about it. Okay, The 94 crime bill, it happened. It did happen. Some people, we can't lie. Was that not voted upon by the black community? Did they not ask for the 94 crime bill? Yes or no?
BMT, can I
Yes,
say
they
this to
did.
you? Who created the bill? The administration that has it in right now. So what makes you think they're going to reform something that they couldn't place? Fire,
Facts.
that's
Fair
it. Let's
enough.
move
Fair
on
enough.
to
Fair
another
enough, Shirley.
subject.
That's fair enough.
That's a waste of
Fair enough.
time for us to say, let's go back and reform this policy. Not under this administration. You just another nigga. That's it.
Facts.
But
Fair
that
enough.
kind of
So
just
so
further
that
proves the
lets me
point.
these guys are not
Done it?
politically astute. They don't know policy, but they're here arguing policy. This just doesn't make sense.
Well,
Your
a couple
answer
You
is
things.
don't
to do
understand
everything black
policy.
people
You
already
don't
do, though.
understand
You don't
policy. You
really
don't
have a new
read.
idea.
You
You
don't
don't
read.
really
It's
have new
obviously you
answers.
don't
You're not
read. You
responding to the
don't
current
read.
situation at
You
all.
don't read, hood conservative.
Dude,
Just
do you
that
have more than
you don't
insults?
understand policy and you don't read.
No, do you have more than insults, though?
No, I'm not.
I've,
No,
I've,
I
That's
have a
a good
lot,
Okay,
but
point.
it's obviously you don't
okay.
read.
I'm
Hood
glad you said
conservative,
no. I'm
that's a
glad
good
you said
point.
no.
D
What point?
Durrell,
What point?
since you're making these accusations about what people don't know, can you tell us what you do know?
Thank you.
No, I'm not going to tell you what I do know because I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to them.
And,
Thank you.
and I'm just saying,
No. But
said,
first of all, again,
Damn.
the '94 crime
Damn, I'm
bill
a
in
see,
itself,
misogynist and I
like I
respect the
stated,
ladies
see,
more than
this
you.
is
How
what
was
it
we're
boils
that?
living
down
we're
to.
living the
This
results
is
of
what
the
it boils down
'94
to. The
crime bill.
arrogance.
We're
The
we're we're li-
arrogance.
we're living the
He's
90.
going to
We are
tell people what
basically
they don't know
we're basically
while not sharing
living
what
the
he does
results
know.
of the
That's the
'94
arrogance.
crime bill, and you want to sit there talking about reforming something.
BMT, you're gonna have to fix this, bro. This is your show.
No, you're the one. You're the one who came up here with all of this.
Now
You
I'm
did
just
it.
saying, BMT,
You
I
did
think
it.
it's clear what's
You did
happening
it.
up here.
You did it.
Either you make a decision or you
No,
don't.
listen, brother. You don't even support BMT channel like that unless it's on topics like this. You don't come around when BMT talking about
Another arrogant
education. You
point.
don't come around. You don't come around when BMT
What does
talking
that
about
have
some
to
other
do with the
thing going on in the
conversation
black
right
community.
now?
You only come around when it's about topics like this.
Why are you grandstanding?
You
Because you're a
fucking girl.
professional?
You
Is
fucking
that why
girl,
you're
bro.
grandstanding right now?
Are you
Because
speaking to
you're a
me?
professional?
I can be the way I want to.
There's no
I work for
preference
myself.
here.
I work
There's
for
no
myself. I
preference
can be whatever I want to
amongst
be.
individuals
I
in
can
this
be if you don't. Hey,
conversation.
listen. If you have a problem with me, you just have a
I
problem
do
with me.
not.
Well,
It's
okay.
your
So
arrogance
what's your
that I'm
point,
pointing
baby?
out.
What's your point?
Your arrogance has not contributed to your accusations.
Bro, you're making the girls unhappy. Like that's the worst sin ever in Black America. You pissing the women off.
I don't care who I'm pissing off. I'm stating my solution and my solution
What
and my
solution?
position stands.
What solution?
That's what
What?
it
No,
is.
no, we were
Where are
waiting for
your
a
solutions?
solution.
I asked you to list solutions. All you did was blame and point
I
fingers.
gave
That's all I
solutions.
asked you to
Men
do.
have to reestablish their own
Name
dominance with
your
their own
solutions.
political
Could you
platforms.
please
Men
name
have
your
to
solutions?
reset the political
Name
direction
your
here.
solutions.
bro,
But
You have no
you don't have
look.
solutions.
solutions. You're too good for solutions.
No,
Yeah, I came
no,
up here and
you're
gave
the
us.
one
I
came
came.
up here. Give me your solutions.
Yeah, but solutions have been given, and you shut them down and
No,
acted
no, no.
irate.
He did not.
You just don't like the solution.
Those solutions that were given again were all about pointing fingers.
Yeah,
It
I
was
really
nothing
want to sit
about.
in on a
It was
therapy
not. It was.
session with
It was
D.
nothing
Durrell.
about improving
Like,
anything long
I just
term.
can't imagine
That was
you
no
doing
process.
therapy.
That was no process
Like, how
See,
do
involved.
you fix
see,
people's
It was
lives,
Darrell,
bro?
you
Like, how
sounded
the
like
fuck
it
have
was
you ever
again
fixed
pointing fingers.
anybody's
It was
life, D.
about pointing
Durrell? Like,
fingers.
seriously, you fix people, you.
all right
I
now.
do have a
That's
question.
a
I had
cold
a
play
question
right
for
there, bro. I
Shirley.
don't know if you should have did that.
I do
Go
have a
ahead, bro.
question for
Speak. You
Shirley,
got
if
it.
He
I can.
obviously has a successful career. How dare you insult it?
I'm just
Are
What
saying,
you
what
like,
speaking
kind of
for
low
me?
blow is
Are you
that?
you
speaking for
fix
me, brother?
people.
Okay,
I don't. I
I
don't know
really
what you're
want to
saying.
see
okay,
how that
okay.
works,
He has
though.
a
We've been going back
successful
and forth,
That I
career.
don't
so
have.
What do
I
you
Then
don't
make it
have?
understand
work for the
what your
state,
perspective is
probably.
coming
That
from
don't make
because
you
I'm not even.
you
You're
successful.
not even in
No,
what
sacrifice,
we
see
so hey,
saying.
now,
as
So
the
I
see,
don't
saying
know
this
what
is
your
goes,
where
point
this
is.
ignorant
I
stuff
don't
is.
get your point. I don't get your point.
I'm
If
just
you got an
saying, like,
issue
this is
with
how
me,
you
you
fix
got an issue
people.
with
This
How
me.
is how you
dare
I
fix
care
you
less.
things.
attack
I
his
care less about.
accomplishments?
I
This
care
is
less
a
about your
Oh,
issue
conversation.
with
sweetie,
me.
I've been under
I have
attack
my
this whole time.
perspective.
Don't you
I
dare get out your
okay,
chair
understand. If
now.
you don't
You
can
like
sit
it,
the
You
man,
fuck
haven't
brother,
down,
you
announced
miss.
your
ask Shirley a
accomplishments.
Miss, you sit
my
the
question
fuck
thing is this,
about
down.
man. I'm
You
gonna
what I
talking
speak to
got
about
in my
on my
BMT on
mind?
this.
channel Jay?
BMT, let me ask you this question,
Is that
BMT.
an accomplishment?
BMT, how many times have we had this situation happen, BMT, where it's the same people that come
You
up
just don't
and
like
they do
me.
the same
That's all it
thing
is.
over
You don't
and
like
over
me, and
and
you can't
over.
behave yourself
You
when
do
I
the
Don't
come
same.
call
I'm
for
around.
talking to
backup,
BMT. I'm not even
D-Trail.
speaking to you, brother.
Why you
BMT.
calling for
Right? He
backup from
don't.
I got a
BMT?
question.
Seriously, you
BMT.
don't like me.
You
BMT,
calling
I have
for
a question.
backup from BMT?
BMT, I have a question for you, brother. How many times have
You
we
calling for
had
backup?
conversations?
That's
But
sad,
brother,
bro.
sister, I'm not even. You can say whatever you want about me. I'm not even paying attention to you. BMT, listen.
Did
BMT
I do
again.
that?
BMT, how many times have you done discussions like this and the same people come up doing the exact same thing over and over and over? See, I support BMT all the time, every day, anytime, no matter what he's going through. I support his channel. So I
Nigga, what
think,
you pay
Sounds
his
like
rent?
and I've been
You buy
supporting
his
his
kids
channel for
lunch? The
years, but
fuck you
I'm just
mean?
saying
Sounds like
this
coercion
happens
to me.
recurrently over and over and over. The
Let
same
me throw
people
this guilt
coming
trip
up,
on you,
same talking
BMT.
points,
I
Right?
support you all the
endless fighting.
time,
And every
BMT.
time I say something against it, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Oh, you
Sounds
this and
like
oh you that,
coercion,
and now you this.
sir.
I'm just only pointing
No, it
out
sounds like
my
coercion.
perspective. If you
Why are
don't
you
like my
calling for
perspective,
backup from
nobody
BMT
said
when you discussing
lady. I don't
whether or
even know
not
why
that
you
man
even
is a
talking to me because
crybaby? You're
I'm not even
discussing whether or
referencing
not
you.
that man
I
is
don't
a
even know you like
crybaby,
that. We
and
don't
you're
even deal
calling
with
for
each other.
backup from
I don't.
BMT. Why are you doing that?
You just arguing for the sake of arguing. I
No,
have no
no, sir,
argument
that
with
would be
you.
you
I'm talking to
deflecting
BMT.
as
I'm not even
usual.
focusing on
You
you.
think you're
So
so
you
psychologically
can tell
in
me
tune
what I think.
with
How do you know what I
everybody
think?
when you have
Again, I'm
no
speaking to
idea who
BMT.
you're
I'm
talking
speaking to
with.
BMT. So BMT, are you there,
You're
brother?
calling for backup.
BMT,
You want
brother,
validation from
I'm just
BMT
asking
as
BMT,
opposed to
how many
He's
supporting
times
not
your
have we had
own
to deal with this
argument.
over
D
and
Darrell.
over and
He's
over the
not
You're
here,
same
D
thing?
calling
Darrell.
It's the
for
same thing.
backup from BMT as
I,
opposed to supporting
I'm
your
not even
own
talking to you.
argument.
Listen, lady.
And
I'm not
that's
even
what's
talking to you,
happening with you right now.
lady. I'm not even talking to you.
I'm
I'm not
not
even
a
listening. I'm not.
lady,
I have
I'm a
no
woman.
response for anything you have to say because I don't have any issues with you. I don't know what your problem with me. I have
There
no
is
issues
no
with you.
issue
I'm
other than
speaking with BMT.
there is no
I'm speaking
issue
to
other than
BMT. Listen,
pointing out how
BMT. You can point out whatever you want. It's falling on
you
deaf
not
ears
be,
when it
look,
comes to you because I have no issues with you. I don't care what
you're
you
not
have to say.
exercising
I
proper
don't care.
discernment.
You
You're
just
not
talking because you just want to
exercising
be
the
heard.
discernment
You just
that
want to
is in
argue to argue.
accordance
You
with
just
your
want to argue to
education.
argue. You want to
You're
argue to
not
argue. I'm not here to argue
exercising
to argue.
discernment
I'm
in
not arguing
accordance
just for
with
the
your
purpose of arguing.
education. You're not exercising discernment in accordance
Well,
with your
you're not
education.
exercising discernment by interrupting me. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
we're both not exercising discernment. How about that?
Why are you calling for backup though?
I don't need backup. I just asked BMT a
Hey,
You're
question.
deferring
What do you
to
hey,
want to
the
allow
hold
me
on.
to
channel
do?
Hey,
holder to back
bro,
you up.
I
What's
don't
bro,
that
need
speak. Can
anybody
we
about?
to
can
back me
You
up. I'm
want the
asking him a question. I
spotlight?
back
look?
myself up.
You
Hey,
want the spotlight?
I don't need the
bro,
spotlight. I got
speak
my
wanted
own
to
Okay,
say
channel.
then
If
something.
I
stop
want the
calling him for
spotlight, I
backup
can go on
and
my
just make
own
your
channel.
point.
If I want the spotlight, I can go on my own channel and do a live stream. I don't need to come on his channel to get the
Wait. Hold
spotlight.
on. Stop. I just left to go look up some dinner. You guys, I'm trying to have it where we can have hopefully a logical discussion. Y'all know I don't do this. I don't always get chaotic. Like I just came back from the halfway house talking to black men about getting some jobs tomorrow. Like I'm trying to find out. Was one of the dudes that was talking to do about a family thing. You want to know the conscience of this conversation? The man was talking about I would go back to trying to do something with my family, but I failed my family. So they're better off. I'm better off not dealing with. They're actually doing better without me. Sad that he said that, but he said he never knew how to run a family. Cool. So I'm doing this conversation but off of the conversation that me and him had. Now I'm looking at it off of that, and I'm not listen, if I gotta do a political conversation, I'll do that another time. But I'm looking at that of, hey, but I only got probably 20 or 30 more minutes. When we had this conversation before, I talked about that of, hey, Melly, you was here. I said, hey, we can't talk about that of building a family if we don't get our shit together first as the individual. Individual family units make a community. Talking about, hey, let's all just make families, but then there's no accountability, you're going to have a big clusterfuck of a whole bunch of issues. Can we agree on that? Like, This is where you're gonna start seeing shit happen, man.
You're
Like people are making
associating my
videos.
name with something that didn't originate with me.
I didn't say you said that, Mela.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
don't
say
think
you.
we want to play this all people are
BMT,
guilty
I would like
game.
to ask whenever
I
you get
don't,
a chance when you
I don't
finish.
think
I like
y'all.
to ask Miss Shirley a question when you finish, if you don't mind.
Okay. Like here's the thing about it, man. And I'm not saying y'all are saying that. I'm trying to say the timeline, the chronological timeline of when people came around my panel. Like this is why I'm trying to have this conversation. But the people who are in the chat listen to what I was exactly what I was saying. Mimi just left. Shirley was here, and the people were. If y'all were listening, I was talking about a family is a tool to that of society. It's a tool. If you don't know how to use the tool, the tool is no good. I can give you a toolbox, but if you don't know how to use the tool for the appropriate situation, it's not going to be worth anything. Take away that of the background of feelings and just look at the talking point. Now
You're
I'm
right.
talking. Okay, so if I'm looking at that of what's it, looking at black society, I'm talking about family. It's family that is the key to fixing the tool. We have Kenneth Wright and we also have Trey and BD. Listen, gentlemen, no ad
Don't
hominem.
forget to read your super chat, baby.
Thank you, Mella. No ad hominem, no disrespect. Attack that is the talking point. No cutting people off. Okay, let me read the super chat. Thank you, Mella, for reminding me of that. Dieterell, with all due respect, you made an accusation of derailing the conversation. But this evening is you have derailed this conversation since you joined the panel. Okay. Thank you for letting us know that, Doug. Let's move on. Let's move on to just that of the conversation. Okay, y'all? Just the conversation. We've been doing good. Have we not, Mella? Have we not, Brother Speak? We've been doing pretty good. I'd say don't talk over each other. Let's work together. Okay?
Yep.
I don't have to like each other. Just talk about that of the topic. The question is this: Is making family not is it not going to fix the black family society issues or no? We're far past removed past that point. Kenneth Wright, and we also have Trey and BD. Kenneth Wright, what do you say about all that? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, hey, you guys, how you guys doing? Thanks, DMT. I absolutely believe that the key to kicking this off is re-implementing the black family and stressing the importance and the role of what what the black family provides, and getting us to like all this other stuff that I'm hearing. There has to be a starting point. you know. And I don't know if it was the last one I was on the show, but I mean, I just as a man, I mean, I've been trying to every panel I've been on, you know, I know we have these issues and things we disagree with, but let me tell you the importance of a black family, right? This is for men and women. I'm only going to focus in on the man because I'm a man. Liken us as men to a tiger, right? Domesticized tiger. And basically what's happening with a domesticated tiger is being fed, doesn't have to hunt, right? It doesn't have to protect anything, right? Because it's encaged, so it doesn't have to worry about protecting its ground, is giving shelter, everything it needs from a tiger kitten to grow up to be this big, powerful tiger. Everything it needs, right? It grows up. It has the roar of a tiger, the fangs of a tiger, the power of a tiger. It's a 650-pound tiger. Hello, hello. Yeah, everything that the tiger needs. You look at it, it's a tiger. You take that tiger and you put it in the jungle. In spite of all the tools it may have, it's going to die, and it's going to die quick because it was never prepared to be a tiger. That's what the role of the family plays. You take a young man, you take a young boy, and you put him in an environment that is stable, And his father is teaching him all the important things that is necessary to be a man, the protection, the pride, I mean, everything that, our women think about that what we need as far as being a man. He's not learning that. Yeah, we can have the football coach do it and the teacher or whatever, but I mean, that should be like plan B and plan C, and that normally should happen when, unfortunately, the father is passed. Not because the father don't want to be in the situation. Our black families have broken down. Let's just call it what it is. It's broken down. Yes, anybody that's going to sit here and tell me that that's not the biggest issue. Yes, it's not racism, not lack of jobs, whatever else, crime. Well, but even all these things, I think, come back. Even with racism, what have we said that racism has set out to do? Break up the black family. Okay. Once you put that divide in between the man and the woman, you don't got to do anything anymore. They do it for you. Listen to the conversations we having right now. That's the cool part about it. Everybody up here is supposed to be successful and got their shit together, and yet we still up here arguing and fussing and fighting about what needs to happen and what shouldn't happen and whatever. So yes, the black family is always going to be the key for any family, right? Any family. But I'm talking about a relatively intact family. I'm not talking about putting grandma in charge and stuff like that, because as a man, this is your children and your woman, and as a woman, this is your husband, your man and your children, and no one should even want to have more pride in in your children and your offspring than yourself, and seeing them being successful. I want it with my children. I want to be able, when someone sees me, maybe they ain't seen me in 10 or 15 years and know I had kids, and they say, "Hey, how your kids doing?" I don't want to be ashamed to tell my kids my son's in out of jail and my daughter's is this way and everything else. I don't want to have to say that. I'm not saying that that kids ain't gonna be perfect no matter what, but we listen to this conversation we having. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna turn it back over to BMT. I just think we out of order. The man is out of order. The woman is out of order. You
How's
know.
that?
I think we're out of order in that neither side is willing to take accountability for their role in the degradation of the black family. And both men and women have to take accountability for their role in the degradation. But it's always, well, you got to do this, and if the black woman did this, and if the black man did that, and totally omitting, it's not one thing I heard up here, right? Whether it be voting, politics, or crime, or whatever, I can't say we had a hand in contributing to it.
All
You
right,
know?
so the absent factor is concedence. Would that be fair? We're
I
not
mean,
conceding towards one another, right?
right. I mean, if I mean, D. Durrell as a therapist, I think he can attest to this. Before you can seek therapy, you got to realize you got a problem. You need therapy. If you don't think you need therapy, you're not going to go seek it, right?
Facts.
As long as both sides keep thinking that they ain't the problem and the other side is, then there's no reason for them to address what their role is in the situation.
I
And
would
truth be,
say, I would say to what you had just mentioned, when it comes to arguments, it's about persuading someone, right? When it comes to the gender war, there's no need to persuade one another. It's about collectively unifying for a higher goal. And this is where we get distracted with these types of conflicts and conversations. That's what I would say to that.
I think to the point that as much as I agree with everything that you did say just now, Kenneth, I think there's something that's sort of being left, and it's like it's not a simple it's not simple arithmetic. This is it has a little bit more complicated calculations involved. it's not enough to just say that the black family has to be together. Black women already have children, and in their minds, they already consider that a family unit in and of itself. So, my question, and this is why I get the pushback when I raise the things I raise here, black men have no role in the modern family unit in a lot of and in the modern black family, black men are sort of fighting to establish some kind of role here. And so I don't think you can just lay it on the floor like we need the family unit. Okay, yeah, but what are the men supposed to do? Is the man supposed to come into the family and play some kind of secondary or subservient role, or is the a supporting role even, or is the man supposed to have like an authority leading role? The way these other economic groups that you all mentioned that we have
Family.
competition with, those families that those men, like, this is what we got into before about what those men do. Those men, they are loyal to their culture, but the women are as well, and they don't play a secondary role within their own families. And so I think when you talk about bringing the black family back, all right, what's the man's role though?
I like the analogy
Okay,
of the
here,
tiger
So hold on. Let
about
me.
listen, brother. You said something very key that you said the black man should come in. Right at that moment, you messed up. Not you, but that logic is messed up. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
When you're coming into something, you're coming into something that's already established. It don't matter how good or bad it is, it's already established, right? You want to as a man establish
Yeah.
the situation. And then once you establish it, right? Then I mean, if we're talking, this is the problem. I mean, we're talking about if we're talking about men being leaders. Leaders don't come in a situation that's established. And even when they do, there's not one situation where you get a new leader where they don't up in everything in there and put their own stuff in there.
Hold on. But see, I know you and I aren't necessarily disagreeing, but this is
Right.
literally why I say you should be willing to vote against the woman openly. Because how do you call yourself a leader when you support her leadership? That's
whoa.
counterintuitive. So on that long, listen, I get your leadership logic point, but that's not what I'm really getting at. Do
Uh-huh.
women believe what you're saying? The women that you're supposed as black men as a whole, do the black women believe that you have a role to play in the family unit? And if so, what is your role? That's the
Well,
Okay.
question. I'm not denying what you said.
Again, senseless arguments, fruitless
yeah.
outcomes.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Once
figure out.
again, the same
But
shit
you
all
Hold
know
on.
over
what?
again.
But
I've
D,
Now I'm
derailed
but
the
trying.
see, hold on, hold on, hold
conversation,
on,
but it's
hold
the
on.
same
See,
shit.
let me just say this. But see, D, I get it, but Hood, with all due respect, bro, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because
Same
see,
shit.
what you did was, well, the women gotta do, and it's always just well,
So
one
we're going to
side
force
gotta
them
do
to
whatever.
cooperate. We're going to
Huh?
force them to cooperate.
Cooperate. Well, okay, but fine.
Okay,
Cooperate,
then. No, please deal with the
Cooperate
question.
to do
Deal with
what?
the question, please.
Okay,
Cooperate
well,
to
you
do what?
married?
No, all right. Well, for
You're
one,
not
black
married.
men
So,
and
so what
black
do you
women
know?
are
So you
obviously
never
not
get
married in
married. You
any
never had a
significant
consistent
numbers.
Okay,
relationship.
Black men and
You
black
want to
women
talk about
obviously
these
aren't
type of
getting
things.
along. So
well,
is it black men
You're
that
not.
don't
You're
want
not
to
even married.
cooperate with black women, or is it black women that don't want to cooperate with black men?
It's
I'm
not
asking a
about
question that we
cooperation.
all
It's
know
about
is in the
collaboration.
background right now.
It's
Cooperate to
about
do what?
collaborating, not
To
cooperation.
be more successful as a group.
okay,
So
but again, you're putting
We're
it.
looking
But
forward to
if
the
you look,
success of our group.
hold
But are
on.
you
So let.
looking forward to
That's
what you
why
have
we
to do?
excel. That's
Hold
why
on.
we
Wait.
strive.
Let me let D Rail
And
go, and
that's
then
why you're complaining about it.
let me let D Rail go, and then let me get to Train BD. Thank you guys if you coming on the video. Please like, share, subscribe. Please place your comment, or you can unsubscribe. It's up to you. I'm not stopping y'all. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Like I said, I respect. Everybody has their difference of opinions. Y'all know I do not do echo chambers. We are giving solutions, and then we also hear people are bringing up stuff. If you work out one math problem, you're gonna have another math problem. I agree, and I'm just listening. I'm just giving a breakdown. I don't know. I would have to know. Well, what are your agendas of what you're voting for or voting against? And then if you're saying that the majority of men and women vote the same, and that of this black ethnicity, majority of men and women kind of vote the same kind of stuff, like they do. So that's what I'm saying. Like somebody voting against the other. Men actually were voting for women, having a protection bill. They actually voted for that. I actually looked that up. Oh shit, the men were actually voting for that. Yeah, they were doing that. Um,
BMT.
I, you got
Well,
to.
that's one
So
example,
the thing,
BMT, but okay.
now another thing about it is this: you also had where black mothers were also went down there and they fought for their boys because their boys were being put into a prison pipeline of mental health, ADHD and stuff like this, and they were
We
going to
sure did fight for that.
like the women. The
Against
women
that,
fought.
rather.
The women fought for that. Like the women fought for, hey, y'all got to stop doing that to our boys. So you can't say that the women didn't try or really didn't. They did succeed. They did do that. So you gotta. So the thing about it is, where's the thing where they say, well, if we vote for this, we don't want that. I didn't see the person who's
All
already
right.
in.
So black men should support their mothers, but what does that have to do with black women broadly?
Well, I mean, okay. So black
Man,
women.
when
Right.
Trey
What
gone,
that
so I
got
wonder
to
what
do with me? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, just because you
circular
support
arguments,
your mom
circular
supports you
arguments,
and you support your mom, but what that got to do with the rest of y'all?
When I support.
circular arguments.
Okay, so let's go to Trey and Big. What's going on, Trey? Are you there? I'm not sure if Trey's there. Okay, now while Trey's coming back, now the thing about it is most people that are within that of a family unit are going to predominantly vote the same. Like most people in a family union don't even have to be your wife or your mother. They're going to vote predominantly the same because that's a family unit. They're going to vote the same that's within their favor. That's how they're going. That's how most people have always been voting. So they're going to vote with like-minded people for that of their certain tangibles of what they want. So that's the thing about it.
Can I
Why?
say something, BMT? Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. With no matter what you want to bring up, it's always dysfunction. Okay, let's talk about voting. Okay, I agree. For the most part, even though black men may vote less than black women when it comes to voting, Democrat and liberal, it's slightly less. It's not like it's like, black women are like 92, 93%, and black men are like 30 or 40%. No, it's like black men are still in the 80s. So we're still representing the Democrat side at a high rate. I'm gonna give you a prime
Facts.
example of idiocy, right? Jim freaking Clyburn. Okay, now I live in LA, right? So I don't got to deal with the buffoonery that he does over there. And I think the 6th district in South Carolina. This is my understanding. The 6th poorest district in the United States. The 6th poorest district. And it's been that way for years. This man has run that district for 30 freaking years. 30. And guess what? He just got re-upped again a few months ago. That's us. That's politics, right? That's a problem. And you can't
Yeah.
blame nobody else but us. That's black people.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
this fool had a fish fry. You got a
Right.
woman, a senator, taking off her clothes and standing on her head and shaking her butt, talking about
Right.
it's the ass, right?
Right.
I mean, we get your booty to the pole. This is the kind of buffoonery that we are that we've been relegated to. This is what our
Right.
so-called politicians, our political leaders think about us.
All right,
For
can I
people
jump
that
in now?
don't understand, I'm sorry, just real quick. Go back and listen to Malcolm X's "The Ballad of the Bullet," which was probably like 1964 or something like that, and tell me, does that
He
not
called
apply
people
today?
political chumps, right?
Right. We are chumps. We
Political
are
chumps.
chumps. We,
Exactly. Not to mention,
in every facet of American life, I'm sorry to say, but
Our own
us Black
politicians
Americans
are
Hey,
are
let me
chumpers.
let me get in this, kid. Let me get in here finally.
All right, what's up,
What's
Trey? Go ahead.
what's up,
Have a
BMT?
comment.
Look, man. All right, prior warning. I'm gonna hurt some feelings up here, so just letting y'all know already. But Ken, man, you in LA, bro. What's going on in South Carolina ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. There is no we. Um, and alongside that, there is no black family, y'all. It's a myth. Y'all, black folks were been lied to for, I don't know, centuries about this myth. And eventually, black women, realize, like, why should I be with a man just because of his skin color? That no, women are going to choose a man based on what they can provide for them resource wise. That's first and foremost. Women are after resources. So eventually in their brains, they realize, like, look, okay, if you're telling me, everybody is telling me, basically society is forcing me to be with a man based on something that some social construct, then boom, naturally their instinct is going to be masculine because they ain't feeling it. This whole divester movement, I've interviewed tons of them.
Everybody likes the
Hold up,
winning
Mella. Hold,
team.
hold, hold up, Mella, real quick. I've interviewed divestors. I spoke to black chicks married to Proud Boys. I spoke to black chicks at MAGA rallies. I asked them when I met one in an interracial relationship. I always asked them, like, "Hey, what made you get with your husband?" "Oh, he's strong. I felt that he could protect me. He could do this." And I see they're all feminine, all submissive. Okay, cool. But then when I go over to, I go to communitized spaces, the women are all masculine. The way they talk to them, and it just makes perfect sense. When you choose a man, excuse me, when a man chooses you and he's looking at you just because y'all share some shade of melanin, all right, of course, those family situations will be toxic because they're not built off of love. They're not built off of building a lineage. They're built off a social construct. So you can't
Right.
legislate a family. You can't legislate, a man wanting to be a father to, a woman he just is with because of skin color. No, there has to be a natural complementary bond between those two people that goes beyond some fictitious amount of melanin.
Right.
So you
The
were the Dominican,
dynamics
right?
of
You were the Dominican,
compatibility.
right? You're not with a black woman. You were the Dominican, right?
Oh my God.
But you're
Wow,
speaking.
you
You're
go there
speaking on this. But you were
immediately.
the Dominican,
That
right?
that's the best you can offer.
No, no, no. I'm asking. Is that true?
We know, we hear you,
No,
but
no. It's just
we
answer
know him
yes or
That's a
no.
already.
Are you
character
married to a
attack.
Everybody
Dominican?
knows him
Are you
already.
married to a Dominican speaking
That's
on
a
the black
character
family?
attack,
Are you
D.
serious?
Durrell.
See
So
this
a
well,
black
this
man
this is
can't
what I'm
say what he
talking
wants to
about,
say.
BMT. BMT, this
A
is what I'm
black
talking
man
about.
can is he not a black
Yeah, the
man? This
people
is
on
why I
here
put the
who are
black man
anti-black
first.
family always talking about the black family. The people on here who are anti-black family are the ones who want to talk.
Are you gonna
So
respond to
people
what I
born
said,
in the
D.
black
Yes,
Durrell?
family can't talk about the black family?
Good conservative is anti-black family. Trade NBD is anti-black family. SKC is anti-black family. Free Zone, whatever the hell his name, anti-black family. But you want to talk about the black family? It makes no
Well,
sense.
if
Okay,
if,
let
if
me
I
let me
can
let
if
me
I
let me
can
let me
It
help you
makes
out,
no
Well,
D.
D.
sense.
Durrell.
Durrell does make a good point.
Me and
Okay,
me and
I'll respond, D.
Under
Durrell.
what? Okay,
we're
okay,
Durrell,
married
that's a
to
good
black
point
women.
though.
I'm
If
with
I
the
may,
family.
We are married to black women, and
I'm
if
and
I
we
may,
have ownership and control of our own
if I
households with
may,
a black family
hello.
with black children.
If I
Right?
may, D.
So,
Durrell makes a good
but we got the
point.
people who don't have that. They're the ones who are talking the most. This shit don't even make
Okay,
sense.
in
Are
the
you gonna
event
respond
I
to what
am
I
BMT,
said,
so
D. Durrell?
allowed,
BMT,
in the
Right. Does
event
he
I
ever
am
get a
I got
chance
a
so
to
question.
respond?
allowed,
Are you going to
This is
respond to his
disgusting.
points,
this
D.
is the
Durrell?
point
This is
that
why
D.
I don't
Durrell
get
is
on some of these
making.
panels with some of these
What
people saying all this
emotional
dumbass shit
intelligence
that don't
do
make
you
no
have
sense, man.
to
Emotional intelligence
construct
isn't a
an
thing.
argument about black
Emotional
BMT,
families
intelligence
when
isn't
you
a
don't
thing.
have
hit
one?
me up, man.
That's what D.
I mean, we can
Durrell
talk
has is
about this. We
emotional
can chop it
intelligence.
up,
That's
but
why
I'm
he's
out.
sound the way he
No,
sound, because
no,
he
his
operates on
point is
emotional
emotionally
intelligence.
intelligent. He's making
There is
an
no such thing.
emotionally intelligent point. He really is. D. Durrell
There's
is
no such
making
thing,
an
man.
emotionally intelligent point. What authority does a man who is not committed to building black families have when they are committed to those outside of their culture?
Okay, so
Well,
Men who
Mela,
grew
I'll
up in
help you
black
out.
families can
wait,
speak on
Look,
black families.
I'll
wait,
speak
wait.
on that.
So let me say this before Trey says something. And here's the thing about it: I cannot take away Trey's experience as a black man or as a man that is raising a family. Whether he chose who he chose, does that take away that of his experience as a man who is raising a family? I can't take away
We're
from any of
talking
y'all.
about, okay, there's a
Still a
difference
black
between
family
being a
regardless.
man. There's a difference between being a black man versus being a man that is in charge of a black family.
All
There's
right, Mela, I'll respond. D.
Wait,
Durrell,
wait. So,
let me help out. Let me help out
We,
DMT. D. Durrell's not here. So
okay, and
I'll help
okay, go ahead,
I'll help
Trey.
the slow
I want to
people out.
respond to that.
Okay, I'll help to slow people out. Now, back in the day when I fell for the okie doke of this racial construct, yes, I was married to a woman who go plays the whole identified black game for 16 years. I raised four kids you would consider classify as black with her. So yes, I have all my black love, black relationship street cred. I got divorced. I met somebody else, and now I'm married. Years later, I'm married to a Dominican woman. We have no kids. We just enjoy our beautiful life together, our prosperous life together. There you go. So I have plenty of authority to speak on marrying somebody just based off of skin color
What
and
broke you and the
societal
black woman
ideas.
up?
That's
The
it.
black
I don't
woman
feel
that
like you
you
should
had
have
children
done
with.
that.
What broke you
Well,
up?
my
Yo, now
choice,
you getting
Mela.
deep. Now you getting too deep,
Now,
Mel. It's
I
my
not
feel
it's
like,
not
choice,
why,
Mela.
but why did
relationship
he have to do
therapy.
That's
that?
it.
No,
But
seriously.
hold on.
Like you're saying that you and this Dominican wife that you have are now enjoying a prosperous experience. Why is it that that could not possibly be constructed in your mind with the woman that you procreated with, who's
I
black?
already said that. I already said that, Mela. I said, look, when I'll repeat the slow, the a quick version. When men and women get together based on a social construct that does not exist, that relationship is bound to fail.
So
Meaning,
you
people,
made
hold
four
on.
children with
When
her out of a
people,
social
Mela,
construct.
when people get together
Maybe
based off
you're
of skin
slow.
color, maybe when people get together off of a social construct, that woman becomes real masculine. Okay, it is what it is. And I,
All
as a
right.
man,
So that's
I, as a
okay.
man,
So
Yeah,
you
as
didn't
a
you
man,
know
look,
what?
choose
Hold
a
on, hold
feminine
on,
Yeah,
hold on,
platform.
bro.
That's what it boils down
Pause.
to.
Pause. Let me control this panel, man. And I'm trying to figure this shit out because that shit has me aggro, man. I'm not gonna talk down on a man that is raising his children, providing for his family, because somebody don't look skin folk don't look like you. So are we trying to tell people to stay in abusive relationships or volatile relationships and they find a comparable mate? Because I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing that, man. Like this is why we taking L's. Y'all like claiming Tiger fucking Woods. Tiger Woods ain't fucking all 100% black. Y'all like choosing that girl Osaka, that girl who hits the tennis racket. Y'all still love Venus and Serena. And guess what? Last time I checked in that stands, that's not a full black baby up there. So y'all picking and choosing now? Is this a
No, we're not.
Exactly.
but yeah, so now
No,
we're
we're
looking
You
at
not.
wouldn't do this to a black
I
woman,
don't
mind you.
endorse that
I've
people
never heard a
stay in
black woman
abusive
take this type of shit.
relationships.
but I'm just saying, like, hold up, man. But see, this is why I'm getting this is why I'm hearing this, man. Like, that was wrong. Like that was wrong. Like, listen, man, the man is raising his children. The man done served the country. He shouldn't have to go divulge like, well, and for the people I done did that. Listen, man, listen. The man did his time. He got his children. They're not locked up. They're not in no fuck shit.
He did his time.
I, well, no, I mean the thing about it, doing your time, raising your family, that's time that a lot of people don't count as effect for a man. You can't ever get that back. So, mind you, once the man gets hit by the family court and they take or they your family gets removed from you, listen, that shit's out there. That shit's out there now. Now you got to
The
say, well,
only thing,
do I,
believe it
do I
or not,
have a blended family? Do my kids
believe it or not,
go
the
ahead?
only thing I'm pointing out is there are dimensions of compatibility that ought to be examined before you procreate with someone. That's all I'm saying. And he
Can
found that out 4 children later.
can I respond to what Trey said as a woman that's married to a black man? First
As
of
a
all,
what?
I think I mean as a man as a man that's
Yeah,
married to a
Q, you
black
want to go
woman,
with that, Ken?
as a man that's married to a
Oh,
black woman, I take exception to what he just said because basically he said that because my wife married a black man, she's masculine. Okay,
no, that's not what I
and
said, bro.
that is what you said. That's
No,
what you said.
I said two people who get together solely based on a skin color, bro, are bound to fail because they're getting together on a social construct,
It's
not getting
about
together.
dimensions
Okay,
Now,
of
oh God damn, Mella,
compatibility. It's
Mella,
not
can
about,
two men have a conversation, Mella, without you jumping in? That's the problem. That men can't talk. That women, black women, oh, let me jump in
well,
the
I
middle of
am
a
a
man's
panelist for
conversation.
goodness
Come
sakes.
on, but two men are talking here, and I'm not
Let them
telling
hash it
kid
out,
no.
Mello. Let them hash it out. Let them hash it out, Mello.
Don't
Let
vote
them
go
for
hash,
ahead,
women,
bro.
y'all.
let them
Yeah, but
hash it
I'm
out in the
saying
backyard. Come on, stay on the
Eh,
porch
man,
with us. Stay on the
What
porch.
I'm saying is that if I had married a conservative, black woman Candace Owens type, man, I'd probably still be married and happy right now because that's the type of woman who I vibe with. But she didn't have to just be black. She could have been any color, but just somebody who vibes with me. If I would have met my wife back then, yeah, we would have been vibe. It's just my ex-wife and I mainly got together solely based on we both fell for this whole black shit.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, I get it, but let me say this. I mean, if personally you love who you love, I'm not against it, man. I hope I'm glad that you're very happy in your relationship, but I'm happy in my relationship too. And I get it. I'm not. I think it's still kind of a logical fallacy that a woman's only getting with a man strictly because he's black and totally jumping over all the other necessary requirements, even if it's just his physical appearance, because there are black women that think that there are black men that are not attractive, right?
You
So
got that right.
I get what you're saying, but the point is that when you're talking about, oh, well, how come every single race, bro, let's be honest, statistically speaking, when they get with a mate, their mate looks like them. So I mean, and that's across the world, and it's always been like that.
That's kind of
So
creepy, bro.
well, you can call it creepy, but that's just what it is, bro. I mean, is that the truth?
I mean,
No, bro.
racially speaking, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I don't know
about
about looks like
dimensions
then.
No, looks,
That's the
yeah.
thing.
of
See, hold on. There's
compatibility.
something
Now,
that
see, hold
goes
on. Now we're
along with
getting
black culture.
When
There
a
are things
man
baked into
well,
the
chooses
right,
a
black dating
but
woman
that's
culture that I
not what
think
he
that
said.
needs to be
Hold
and
on, hold
he's
on,
spoken.
not
Hood. That's
considering
not what he
the
said. When he said, hold
compatibility
on,
factor, he doesn't blame himself for the fact that he was attracted to her based on lust. And that is where men are not holding themselves accountable. You
No, I
didn't
think
make
men
more
and women
children
both
with a
fall for
woman
that. It's just that
because
men are the only
Whoa,
you
whoa,
ones
were
that
whoa! One at
suffer.
a
compatible
time.
with
One
her.
at a time. One at a time. One at
No,
a
no,
time.
Mela, I think you're right about the lust piece. It's just that women don't suffer for their lust the way men do. And that's kind of a problem. And that's why I say when it comes down to it, men have to be willing to
All
vote for
right,
women
let's
because
talk about
women
that.
aren't going to give up their position. The little things like that, like the fact that if two poor people like, if a broke man gets a broke woman pregnant, he gets threatened and she gets rewarded. Little simple things like that will alter the dynamics of how Black America
Okay,
deals with
now we're
one another. But
talking.
we
So
don't want to
I,
have these type of conversations.
I
Now
want to have
we're
a
talking.
so hold on. So we was shout out to Trey, and I had to write that shit down. Are we trying to tell the youth of whatever the construct of Black America that y'all should systematically be breeding because of skin folk should make more kinfolk, or
No, we're
y'all?
not saying that.
Hold on, let me finish. Are we asking people to breed? Are we asking people to stick get with people with the same ideals? I feel like if you're not making with people with the same ideals and same intentions as you're bound to fail. Like just getting with somebody because
exactly.
if you're just getting with somebody that just well you look like me, but you holistically don't actually fuck with me, versus I'd rather be with somebody that like this person likes me and appreciates me for the same ideals of what I stand for. Like that's the thing
Well,
about
BMT. If black
And
men
that's
and
the
women
woman
believe the
they should
same
have
things, hold
chosen
on,
in the
Mela, real
first
quick.
place.
Mela, but let me get to that. Let me get to that. If black men and black women, on the whole, actually believe in the same things, then where are the happy families that would be formed because the men and the women are on the same page?
like
Are you
the thing
saying
about
that black women and black men don't believe in the same things across the board?
I've been saying this. Like, how am I not
No,
clear on
No,
this?
they don't.
no, it's not.
That's
It's
not
not. It's
true.
not that. But Hood, I mean, think about what you said earlier, Hood. Again, it's not so much that they're not on the same page, right? I mean, it's we just do things ass backwards. It has nothing to do with getting with someone strictly because they're black. You find someone you strictly because they're cute or attractive or sexually. You lay down with them, create a baby, and then all of a sudden now the responsibility is set in, and you created a baby with somebody you never wanted to be with in the first place.
Because
Right.
that's
That's what the
because
problem
And
is. It
their
has
that's
nothing to
because
do with
resentment,
the
men.
race.
that's the disguise of resentment. That's the disguise. The resentment
right.
is really based upon not holding oneself accountable for their decision making. in the first
I don't
place.
got
Exactly.
So
I
men
don't
are
got no
getting
smoke
with
for somebody.
women in the community based on their mama's feelings. So okay, she look like my mama. You know, ooh, she got that skin like my mama.
That's
I'ma get
not
with
why
her.
people get with
Oh
women
really? Oh
they
really? How many
procreate
dudes?
with.
You see,
How many
Nobody
right?
is
You
walking
dudes?
up
saying
to
the
a
same thing
Really?
woman in
again.
a
You just said
lounge
you're
talking
not
Really?
about
saying
you
that.
look
You're
like
saying
my
the same
mama.
thing
I
again.
gotta want to.
Really?
I want a
Yeah,
baby with you.
Mel,
Nobody's
can I ask a
doing that.
question?
Why are you
Really?
being dramatic?
Really?
Now we
Okay, I've
got
never heard
somebody
brothers.
else on the
I've
panel.
never heard brothers in this space say, "I want my kid to look like me." Hmm. I've never heard that
Nah,
before.
Trey,
You
I
don't do
mentioned
that,
digress.
Trey.
mama.
Like,
Can I ask a
I've never
question
heard that.
relevant?
Why would
Really?
you
you
Never.
better
mention
not say
mama?
that, Trey. Don't do that, man. And if I say I want my child to look like mama, like why
No,
is
I
going
said I
around
want
doing
my
that?
kid to look
That's what
like
you
me.
said.
I just said I've
You're
heard
being
brothers.
dramatic.
Mella, come on,
Okay,
come on.
let me
This the
get to
problem. Mella,
creative
come on,
So,
Mella.
solutions. Let me get to creative solutions. Then we have free zone. You guys, shout out if you're coming on into the chat, like the video. I told you the topic has definitely evolved. It hasn't gone bad. It's actually still on course because understand this. All this deals with that of family. People do actually do selective breeding. People do make families out of idealisms. I am going to do a topic about that later. I will tell y'all it's going to be selective breeding is the cure versus that of ideals. People are now getting together not off of selective breeding, but off of ideals. Creative solutions. Um, if you give me a rent, I can put StreamYard in the link. I mean, it's already out there. Who else needs a goddamn link? Is it still out there? Um, Go
You
to
took
creative
my wrench
solutions.
away for some strange reason, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
All right, so this was for Hood Conservative because he said, what is the purpose of the man in the home? And he's implying that the man doesn't have a place in the home. And it's nobody's fault but the man. The man has to put value to his place in the home. And what I mean by that is that he has to show up. He has to show the things that he can do. I mean, if he doesn't show up, if he doesn't show that he cares, if he doesn't get the trust from the woman, like how is that supposed to work? And if you're a valued member, you're valued all the time. Like people will see the value in you. But if you don't do anything and you don't show your value, like, are we supposed to just guess? Like, nobody's gonna know unless you show up. So that was my message for Hood Conservative when he talk about the male in the home. You got to show up and be that man.
Thank you, Charlene, for always educating these men. D Darrell, well, actually, Coach D Darrell. I forgot you are now coaching relationships. What's your thought about this? Some people saying, hey, they're getting that. Hey, the choosing just because of skin folk, that's a bad idea. Deal. I would actually want to be willing to actually tackle that with you about, hey, um, should black people stick to, hey, nobody can understand you better than your own versus that of ideals. Like people just should get together for off of that of strength of ideals. I want to know from Coach Diderot. Go ahead.
Well, BMT, I mean, basically, to be honest with you, that whole question is actually below my pay grade. And
My bad.
historically speaking, it this is where I'm talking about with having senseless
You
questions.
finna get Mella up?
Am I being interrupted, or am I? Can I speak?
Y'all let
Please
him
let me
talk,
know.
man. Go,
Please let me know.
y'all. Be respectful, y'all.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you so much, BMT. So my question is, since we want to talk about people not selectively breeding and not dating on the purpose of skin color, um, I, I'm trying to figure out, how do you get a black people in the first place? How do you get white people in the first place? How do you get Asian people, Indian people? They had to selectively basically breed amongst their own. Like, when now in any age of history where people did not selectively breed with their own people? I don't even understand that. It's not even practical. Every group of people, and let's just look at it from a perspective. Let's just, for this particular argument, let's look at it from the perspective of black women. Black women are the second to least likely to date outside their race than any other demographic. The number one is white men. So to sit here and talk about people not selectively breeding, and people not looking at the perspective of someone reflecting them from a physical standpoint that's also tied culturally, that's asinine. Like this is again, as I've stated, and I'm not here to offend anybody, but if the shoe fits, the shoe fits. This is another example of senseless arguments that lead to nothing. Now, a solution that we were talking about in regards to the family, as far as healing the black family, because this is the purpose of that from a political standpoint. Again, as I have talked about this in other spaces and so forth, if we want to heal the black family and improve the black family, we got to love being black. We have to love being black and everything that comes along with that, regardless of what other people think of you. You see, when you date outside of your race, when you when you put other people's value system above your own, and at the same time you disparage those in your community, that's a systematic problem. And for all those that have married out, who have systematically dated out, in my opinion, you have no skin in the game and you have no seat at the table, because anything you say is relative because you made your choice. So you make your choice, stick with it. I have, as a black man who's married to a black woman, and also as BMT, as a black man who's married to a black woman. Why is it is us that seems to not have at any point have the say in this? There's the people who are not. There are people on this panel who got multiple baby daddies, baby moms, multiple children, never married a black woman in their life, never showed loyalty to anything, but you want to talk about the black woman. You have no right. You have no right. Ken, if I don't know if Ken is still up here. Ken is married to a black woman, but it's the black men who have showed loyalty, consistency. The black family does exist because it exists for black men who are on this panel. So for all of those who don't have a black family, you chose not to have a black family. You chose not to be with a black woman.
Why does
So
the
if
black
you made
manosphere
that
exist,
choice, that
Negro?
choice is you.
Why
Don't
does the
say
black
what I
manosphere
can and
exist?
cannot do, brother. I thought I had a chance to speak.
I
Don't
I'm
answered
not
your
interrupt me.
interrupting
question.
No
anybody.
interrupting. No
Thank
interrupting.
you.
No interrupting.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll
So
let him get
so
back to the
for
emotional rant.
No interrupting, Trey.
No, he's making perfect sense, and you can't take it.
Okay. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
hold your
Go
feelings,
ahead, D.
Trey. Hold
Darrell.
your feelings. Hold your
No
feelings.
feelings, bro. Just a logical question for D. Darrell. Just
No,
a
no, no.
logical
Just
question.
wait till after. Wait till after. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Trey,
Coach
you
D.
are not the authority of black families when you don't have
Mella,
a black
shh.
family right now.
Shh. Go sip on some wine, girl. Sip on
Go
some
ahead.
wine. Then,
Go
then,
go
Oh,
ahead,
see,
Coach
then
D.
holler
now
at
we're
me
gonna
later.
go ahead and try character assassination, right?
No, I drink wine too. Let's sip on some wine and we can discuss this later on my show.
No, I don't
Y'all
drink
two,
wine.
stop it. Listen. Y'all two, go ahead, Coach D. Darrell. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
And
So
be the real
one
finish.
of the perspectives, as a person who actually is involved in healing black families and keeping black families together through all the ills that happen in our community, if we want to systematically improve the black family as a whole and the togetherness of the black family, number one, we're going to have to stop black male apathy towards black families. Regardless of that relationship that you have with this woman, or the children that you created, you still need to be there and should be there, and there's no excuse not to be. We as black men have not held black men accountable for not taking care of their children and not giving a damn about those children and never seeing those children, or even just being available. That's a problem. The second issue is that we're going to have to start raising black boys and black children to understand the positives of being married and the benefit of being married from the time that they're born up until they're of age. We can't wait till they're in high school, middle school, or something like that. That should be something that should be ingrained in them from the time that they are a kid and can speak. The orientation of understanding the importance of family, understanding your role as a male, and seeing that, and black men socially modeling that to their young boys, and black women socially modeling that to their daughters. So then when they become older, they understand the benefit of it, and they understand that this is something that I would like to do because it's been ingrained in me all my life. Therefore, I'm going to live in a manner that will constitute a effective, positive, productive family. And so if we could do that, now are we going to see initial remnants and benefits of that within the next 3 to 5 years? No. But if we make the sacrifice to understand that within the next generation, you will start to see the benefits of the fact that we have raised children and have acclimated them to doing these things and being in those roles. And then from future generations, it will create a cycle that's on the positive instead of the negative. So
Absolutely.
instead of having a negative, as far as a declining marriage rate, we'll have an increase in marriage rate.
Who is we, bro? Who is we?
I
Okay,
see you
so
trying to perform some trickery when you ask that question.
No technology. Who is we?
No, you're being distractive right now. He made a perfectly good
Mela,
point,
who is
and you
we?
are distracting from his
No, who
perfectly
is
good
we?
point.
I'm talking man to man, not woman,
We is
man, woman
all of
to
us
man.
who have melanin. That's who
Hey,
we
okay,
are.
D Darrell, who is we?
All of us who have melanin.
D Darrell, does Mela answer for you?
No, I do not.
You just did.
Melanin isn't even an answer. This is
Okay,
what I'm saying,
he
bro.
asked
Like,
D
no, this is
Darrell.
so silly.
see again, guys. See, I thought we were going to have. I came back, BMT, to have a serious conversation, but see now, we got to be sophomoric in nature.
Yeah,
Bro,
thank you.
who
You
is
are
You're
doing
we?
asking
a
you're
great
asking
job.
silly
This is
Who
the
is
questions that you
problem
we?
with
already know the
people
answer
who
to.
don't have black families. They don't take
Silence,
these
Snaggle.
conversations seriously.
Okay,
And
so
that's the key. Just real quick, D Darrell, I'm sorry, but you're right. That's the key. No offense to Hood Conservative and Trey and all, but I mean the way you guys don't have skin in the game. I mean, you guys don't
What
care.
skin do you have in
That's a
his
wild
game?
assumption
Hello,
and
Ken, you're in Los
accusation, though.
Angeles.
All
You
my
have
children
zero
just as
skin
black as all
in.
your children. Hold up. What kind of
Bro,
like? See, this is and
We're talking.
you act like you want to have a decent discussion, and you making the wildest of personal attacks at the same time, and you want to be respected. What the hell is that?
Well, I didn't make any wild attack. I just said you're acting like you don't have skin in the game, right? I mean, that's
No,
what you're
why?
saying.
Why
You
do you
out, right?
assume that? Because we disagree.
I like to
Because
ask
we
okay,
disagree.
a
okay.
question.
So
Depends
I
let
on
would
me.
like
your
to ask a question real
statements.
quick.
Okay, why is my screen acting up? Okay,
I just
so
like to
Oh
ask
no
a
no no.
question really quick.
yes,
And
yes, SKC.
okay,
Welcome to the panel. Welcome.
yeah, I'm not trying. I'm not trolling or anything. This is a serious question.
Go trolling.
Do you have to have skin in the game to tell the truth?
Yes, you do. You have to have skin in the
Well,
game to tell the truth.
That's a
Because
losing
because if you
position.
because if you know the truth, you would practice the truth in your
So the
own
It's
life.
truth is
called a
black.
point
The
of
truth is
reference.
black, right?
Yes,
It's
One at
called
a
a
if you
point
time.
know
of
the truth, you would
reference.
There's
practice
a
the
I,
truth.
black truth, right?
I,
If you know the
well, hold
truth,
on.
you would
No, no,
practice the
no.
truth.
Okay.
Again,
No,
So
is
so
again,
there
so
a
hold
again,
black
so hold so
truth? I
hold on
want to
hold
hear
hold
it.
on
Yes or
hold on
no?
conservative.
Don't talk it over
Hold
people.
on hold on
Don't talk it over
hold
people.
on. I just
Yes, you have to have
so
skin in the game.
oh, okay. So
Okay, but
just to
let
follow
me
that up.
say.
So just to follow that
Ken,
up.
Ken, Ken, hold on,
What
Ken, hold
what
on.
what color? What race is are the numbers, the statistics? What race are they?
What?
Idealistically,
Well, what are you talking about? What race? What are you
yeah,
referencing,
you
SKC?
know
What do you
how
Because
they
mean?
do with
You
because
the
mean the
black
because you
race
people.
that
guys
you married? You mean the Asian wife that you have? You mean the
because
Asian wife
you
that you
guys
have?
just
You
stated
you have an Asian wife.
you guys
We got a
just
guy
stated
on here who has an Asian wife.
you
We got
guys
another
just
guy who
stated
got a
that in
Dominican wife,
order
and then we
He's
got another
trying
guy
to
that got
out
baby mamas
clever.
everywhere. So, but
you
you're the
guys
ones that
just
want to talk
He's
stated
trying
about
to
the
out
black
clever
family.
no
evidence.
you guys
You
just
opted
stated
out.
that in
You
order for
opted
you
out,
to tell the
brother.
truth
SKC,
and,
that you
listen,
have to
brother.
have skin
You
in the
opted
Okay,
game.
out.
see, you're
The
not
You
as
opted
numbers
clever
out,
as you
are
brother.
think
the
you are.
numbers.
You
One at a
opted
time.
out.
The
One
numbers
You opted
at a
out.
are
time.
the numbers.
You opted out,
The
brother.
math
It's
is the
okay,
math. The
brother.
Okay,
math
okay,
You
is the
okay.
opted
math.
out. You
The
made your
the
choice.
numbers are
You
the
made your
numbers.
choice. Be good
The
with it.
numbers are
It
the
don't matter what the
numbers.
number. You're basically part of the number.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
You're
So
part.
so
You represent
let's
the large
so then
percentage
let
of
me
black men with
so
a
When
then
you
college
made a
education
decision to
who
become an
choose not to marry
outsider,
black women.
that is
That's
your
what you represent.
decision.
You notice
Okay,
how they
so
got nothing to
what
offer
I
but
mean,
hate,
if I can
and
yeah,
No,
you
let,
want
no,
let,
brother.
black
let,
men
You
to
have nothing to
participate
offer
with
to
y'all,
to
but
the
you got
let's
nothing
conversation.
to offer.
The
If I
bottom
can say
line is
something,
you
I
have
haven't
nothing to
speaking for a
offer.
while.
You have nothing.
If
I'm gonna
I
I'm
say
not
this.
selling blackness
You're
though. You the
married.
one
You
selling
got guys who
blackness.
got baby
How you
mamas
trying to
on here.
sell blackness and you
You
got
got
nothing to
guys in here
offer
who married
though?
to a
No
Dominican
one's
wife.
Okay, hold
selling
on.
You
That's
got an
all you
blackness.
Asian
You
got
wife.
made
though.
your
You have nothing.
decision.
You have nothing to offer the black community.
Let me a- let me
You
let me
have
ask the
nothing
question.
to offer the black community. Let's just put it
Yes, I
out there.
do.
You
Yes,
have
I do.
nothing to offer the black community.
Yes, I do.
Let
No,
Yes,
me
I
you
do.
don't.
Once
You
you
Yeah,
don't.
nothing
cross
to
No,
the
you
trade
don't.
Yes,
line
I
for.
to
do.
You
You
devalue
got
you
black
nothing to
you
trade
families,
for it though.
excommunicated
you've
You
made
can't give me
your
yourself.
nothing in
decision.
exchange for
You
its value.
excommunicated yourself
Once you
out of the
cross the
community.
line
I'm
to
about
Be
devalue
stop
kind with
black
your
everybody.
decision.
families, you've made your decision.
Yeah, but I do have
Listen.
something to
You know,
offer.
we don't want to hear
Um,
you. You chose to opt out.
Listen.
And
You're
I
And I
know
anti-black.
notice
Look,
women
you're
never get this. She
anti-black
only
Let's
do
family.
this to
talk.
men.
You're
and hold on, hold
anti-black
on.
Once you've
family.
made your
What D
decision
Darrell
to
You're
devalue black
anti-black family.
families,
BMT
stated
you've
was
See,
made your
this is what I'm
decision.
talking about. You see,
No, BMT
this is what it
agree.
boils
I
down to.
agree
See, and
100%
this is the
with
reason
what D
why I
Darrell
derailed
stated.
the
He stated the
conversation.
absolute
This is
truth
the
when he
reason
said
why
that.
BMT
He
I
said he
derailed the
doesn't want to
conversation
hear it
earlier is
because he doesn't
because of
want
these
to
people
hear
that
the
do this
truth.
because of them doing this.
He
This is the
doesn't
reason I
want to
did that.
hear the truth.
This is the reason.
Let's
It was
okay.
never
So
about
let
truth.
And that it's as
hold on.
simple as
Because
that.
if it was about truth, if it was about
Y'all
truth,
stop.
if it
Y'all
was
stop.
about truth, you wouldn't be here in the first place.
Well, let's ask this thing. Okay, because so much shit, and this is crazy, man, that we're adults. Y'all not dumb. Like, let's just talk, man. I want to ask the thing, and just one simple thing, one person can reply. Okay. Now, first things first. Conservative, you're saying black is being sold to you. What did you mean by that? Could you just break that down? And then
No,
nobody
what
say,
what I
go ahead.
what I'm saying is that there's this idea that somehow any black man who like leaves the plantation has nothing to say about what happens on the plantation. And my whole thing is like, well, if he was supposed to stay, then offer him something in exchange.
Okay.
How
Okay.
about you
Okay.
build something? Build something on
Fuck
your own.
you. How about that?
David, David,
And
David,
what you
David,
commented
David,
in the chat is
David,
right.
David.
See, see,
Stop that,
y'all hear that,
stop
right?
that.
You all hear
Come on,
that.
David.
You
You're
all
right, David.
hear that.
Stop that bullshit, David. Stop that
What
bullshit. You're being
bullshit?
a
That was a
fucking
great
clown.
answer.
I say
No,
offer me
David.
something in
No,
exchange
David.
of
No.
value, and he wants me to work more. Fuck him.
Build something.
And hood.
Build
And
something,
hood.
Be a
David.
better
And hood. Here,
slave is an
here's
answer.
Why are
the
you
Build
being
something
so
on your own.
defensive? Is it your
here's
guilt? Why
here's
are
my
you being
last
so
thought, BMT,
defensive?
before I go. Here's my last thought before I
Okay,
go,
SKP,
BMT.
go ahead and listen. No interruption.
All I'm saying is this: if people can't realize how close-minded that is, that they believe that the truth can only come from within their pocket of people, you've already lost.
Okay. So
yeah.
you made the choice
Well,
that you
hold on.
made, so you
Can I
already
answer
lost.
that? Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Ken. Go
Can I
ahead. Go
answer
ahead.
that? Okay. First of all, brother, an opinion is not the truth. And what you've done is you come up here and you offered your opinion. Okay. So I mean, the fact of the matter is, when I said, and I'm not, again, this is, and with all respect, I'm not against you guys. I'm a black man too, right? I'm not against you. But if we're up here talking about about issues in the black community, and I'm hearing things like the black community is done, it's over, let it go,
We're
let it
talking about
burn,
black families,
you
of
know,
which you
yeah,
have none.
black families, so we're up here discussing what we need to do to get black families better, right?
Okay,
If
Ken,
you, I mean,
Ken, really quick, Ken,
if
really
we're,
quick, Ken,
if
Let him
okay,
finish.
T.Y.,
Ken, really quickly,
hold
Ken, really
on,
quickly. What was my opinion?
You didn't help the black family by
No,
by
Ken.
marrying an
What was
Asian
my
woman.
opinion?
You didn't. But how is
What was
marrying an
my
Asian
opinion,
woman
Ken?
helping the
And
black
that hurts
family?
your feelings,
Hold on.
Darrell.
I didn't
Wait,
bring
wait,
And that
wait.
any of that
hurts your
up. I'm just
feelings.
Let him
asking
finish.
Ken, what was the
well,
opinion
Ken
that I
and
brought in?
They want to
I
come
mean, we
over
can,
here and talk smack
Ken,
because we
what was
are
the
allowing
opinion?
it.
What was the opinion
let
that
him
Silence,
I brought
finish.
up?
Daggle.
Hold up. Wait, 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 wait,
And
wait,
then
wait,
you
wait.
call a woman a daggle. You see
Ken,
that's what I'm talking about.
what was the
That's not
opinion
a
that I
woman.
brought
They
up?
It's a
just
daggle.
want to talk smack.
Ken, what was the opinion that I brought up?
I'm about to start dropping y'all. Please listen. I am really trying with y'all. I'm really trying with y'all. I'm not gonna raise my voice. I want to have my fucking voice, man. Like, come on, man. Y'all, I don't do this shit on y'all panels, man. That's crazy. I give y'all respect. Give me fucking respect, man. Like, damn, dude. Like, it's respect, man. Respect, respect. 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 Now y'all don't have to cut each other off. If you don't like what he said, just say, hey, wait to respond. Respond, attack the talking point. Just
I
attack the
could tell
talking
you
point.
how to facilitate if you want.
Listen, Mela, I get it. This emotion flaring. My dog is looking at me crazy as fuck. Like, god damn it.
Right. That's why I know how to facilitate. It's just
I
that
get
you won't
hang on,
take my
I get
advisement.
Mela, just let me get this right. I get it because
You
everybody
got it,
comes in.
baby.
Thank you. Okay.
You know I love you.
Well,
You're a veteran. You know that.
Okay.
what the fuck?
Thank you, Beth. Thank
You
you.
can't keep the
Okay, now
gas bag down. No, 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 no.
like let me ask the question. SKC. Ken said, "Hey, you get it? That's your opinion. You said that you're bringing the facts. Okay, give your reply, and then I get over to truism. Go ahead.
Right. I never
Thank
brought up anything that I did at all. The only thing that I said is what color are the facts?
Fuck.
That's it. So when he replied and said that I brought up an opinion in this conversation, I didn't bring up any opinion.
Yes, you did. We're all up here bringing up opinions,
You said nothing but opinions.
SKC just got
all
here
it
though.
Everything came out of your mouth was opinionated
Which
and,
I just
subjectively
asked
slanted.
Ken, and
One at a time.
I just asked Ken when he stated, "Well, brother, you brought up an opinion," and I asked him what was the opinion that I brought up.
I mean, I'll give you an example. When you
The
talked
black
about
family's done.
right, or even
I didn't
today.
say that.
Yes, you
Okay,
did. You
when
did
you
say that.
did you, but did you not say you were talking about the black family getting with people in a social construct and all that stuff? Did you say that or not?
No, I didn't. I had just got here, and the only thing I said
That was
is
Trey.
if a
Oh, okay, my
person,
bad.
Trey,
the only thing I
not
said was
SKC.
is do you have to be a part of the in group to tell the facts?
Yes, you do. And we said
I
yes.
was asking
You didn't
Ken.
accept that. You
I
asked
was
you asked
asking Ken. This is a
SKC.
conversation
Either
between
out.
Ken and me.
Coach.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let Ken get it. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, no.
How is that?
In
How is that
my
an
opinion, you
opinion,
don't.
Ken?
Huh?
Okay, so Ken, that's what I'm stating is just on something as simple as that. All I did was ask one question, and then the reply is, "Oh, you guys are bringing up an opinion." I didn't bring up any opinion.
Well, again, okay. So I will ask you a question. What fact are you presenting?
Statistics and data. Just as any,
what
just as you can
okay,
have,
so what,
just as
so
you can
what's
have
the-
an
so
anthropologist. If I could just complete, just as you can have an anthropologist who studies another culture, another group of people, and can create academic work on it, and still not have to be a part of that group.
Okay, that's fine. Fine. Fair enough. So what statistical data have you brought up here today?
I haven't brought up any. I was just
Okay, so
asking.
why?
I was just asking
Hold on,
I
bro.
was just
Hold on,
asking the
hold on.
baseline of
Okay, you're
can
asking
a
the baseline.
person
Why
from
do you?
the out group present
Okay, why did
data
you
that
ask?
would?
Why did you ask that question about facts then?
Okay, I'm giving you the answer right now.
You gotta ask it.
I was
AAPD.
asking
That's
that to get a
Trey.
baseline to see if people would accept information, factual information that is based upon data and statistics while not being part of the in group.
I think they actually answered the question directly.
No,
so
we're not.
we're good
We're
on
not
that.
going to accept
Yeah,
your
see,
Okay,
look.
see, you can't stay out, can you?
See?
I'm not going to accept
But you know what? But okay, but hold
and
on,
that's my
D.
right.
Okay, hold on. Let me answer it
If
this
a
way.
woman
Let
is
me-
not going to be allowed to speak, I should leave, correct?
Okay,
It was nice, Mello. Thank you.
Shut up!
You have a great night, sweetie. We will miss you when you're gone.
I think you muted me.
And just
Mella,
to say this,
nobody
Ken,
kicked
really
you off,
quickly.
Mella.
You see,
Nobody
this
kicked you off.
is the reason I
that
derailed the conversation
line,
earlier
that
because of
line
this
of
BS. This is the
that
reason.
line of thinking That
This is
line
the
of
reason.
thinking, Ken, it doesn't work in any other field of life.
That's your
People
opinion. That's
accept
not a
pe-
fact. That's your
people
opinion,
No, no,
sir.
accept.
okay, okay,
That's
but let
your
me,
opinion.
Okay,
That's not a fact.
okay. He's like
okay,
he can't even let me
That's your
just speak with
opinion.
the
That's not
guy.
a fact,
Well,
SKC.
then
no,
let me give evidence of it.
No,
Let
evidence
me
based
give
on what?
I'm
evidence
gonna ask
of it.
Mella what she has to say, but she's a woman, and we're gonna ask Mella. Okay, since y'all want to ask about the woman and what she feel, and we're
Is
gonna
she
ask
barefoot in
Mella.
the
No one
kitchen?
ever asked that question, by the way.
Shut up, conservative. Shut up, dude.
Are daggles really women anyway?
Shut up, truism.
Okay,
Shut the
Is a
you're
faggle a man?
You thought I was bad.
all
Y'all be
right.
respectful.
Your imaginative terms are not actually relevant here in this conversation, so I'm going to excuse that. What I will say, it begins with the children and how we cultivate their understanding of what it is they need to do in order to advance our people. Now, I saw a banner that introduced when a black man marries a woman outside of his culture, is he not still considered in charge of a black family? That's a damn good question. So I pose to you gentlemen, so you won't feel left out. I'm not selfish. Do you believe in your core that no matter where the black man goes, no matter on this creation called earth, no matter where he procreates, he is establishing a black family?
Yes.
One
Okay,
dot.
okay.
we
Now,
have
Okay,
can
that's
one for
big.
yes.
can I respond
No,
to?
We have one for
no,
yes.
no.
We have one for no.
For the
Can
sake
I
of this
get one for I
conversation,
don't think
yes.
it matters?
No matter where the black man goes on the planet earth, as long as he procreates, he is establishing quote unquote a black family. Is
If
that
that makes you feel better,
legitimate?
I'll say yes.
No,
Only
there's no
because it
such
See,
makes you
this
feel
is why
better,
you
though.
can't have. This is why you
there's
can't have a
no such
conversation with these
there's
guys.
no such thing as a black family. There is a family. That's it.
See, says the man with a Dominican wife.
See, now we're
See, this,
revealing true
There's
exactly.
only
feelings.
families. That's it.
See,
There's
exactly.
And
American
this is
They
families.
how
have
we
they
have
have
to
no black
address
pride.
everybody. We have to address everybody according to the
What's Black Pride?
constitution
Hold
of
on.
their
I want
belief.
to talk about this. You
In
guys are
any
on the side
event
of
that
Black
the
Pride, huh?
constitution of your belief is that no matter where you spread your seed, you are therefore establishing a black family. That
Well,
is the
I
issue.
reproduce
Because
myself, right?
that's why you're on this panel.
Every child I have is an extension of
You're
me,
on
right?
this panel, not you, sir, but those who have,
Is that not the point,
established.
though? Every
Hold
child you
on.
have is an
God
extension
damn
of
it.
you, right?
I,
Hold on,
Other,
I
David.
other
believe I
thing,
was afforded at least a few moments to express
Yeah, go
myself.
ahead.
You were.
Any
You absolutely
event
right.
that a black man in the constitution of his being believes no matter what the creed, color, constitution of origin that woman is, that will be a black family. That is why we have this intermingling of everybody that says, hey, my wife is from here, there, and everywhere. And I too have a say in what happens with black culture. That is the core difference.
That's
Can
what I
I
figured.
can I respond to what SKC was saying? You still
Hang
there?
on. I gotta get truism.
Okay.
Truism. Don't you do no goddamn show tune shit, nigga. You just
And
answer the
thank you,
goddamn topic.
BMT, for allowing
You're
me to
welcome,
speak.
Mella.
Thank you.
Just go.
Are you
Truism.
still leaving?
Truism. Shut up, David. Truism. Go ahead and answer the question. I'm watching you, nigga. And goddamn. And then after that, red pill finance. Then we got
So,
chaos.
all right. So I'm not allowed to sing. Fine. What I have to say does not involve a song at all. You see, gentlemen and female, the reason why you will never have a black family or you never had one is because one of you has been reneging on the deal for decades.
Oh Lord.
Discarded side bitch syndrome utterly disproves the very concept of you having a family with the daggle. And the reason why, She will never,
What's a
ever,
daggle?
It's
Spell
a
it out
black
to the
woman. A
ladies.
daggle is a
ever,
black woman,
Stop, fellas.
according to
Stop.
them.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
ever.
Why y'all ask? Y'all stop. 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 Stop.
This
Stop.
is what I'm saying,
I'm
BMT.
stopping. I'm stopping.
BMT, what's going on here, man? I've been listening, man. I'm not sure what the fuck is going
Okay.
on here. Is
You told me to
it
stop. I
Hold on.
stopped.
family?
We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Listen, y'all. I'm not about to renege and go to alcoholism because of fucking YouTube. Literally, just talk.
Could I?
Fuck.
Could I be allowed to finish? Sir?
The black
Yes.
community makes me drink too.
Could I be allowed to finish?
Yeah,
Thank
some
you.
of these
Thank you,
niggas.
Thank you, BMT. I appreciate that.
You know,
Anyway, the discarded
You know
side
I'm
bitch
capable of
can
impacting your psyche,
never,
right?
Hello.
ever love a black man. And the main reason why that is she is incapable of doing so, because you are not white. She's stuck with you. Hence, she resents you and everything that even looks like you. The reason
Why
why
is
you
that?
have 40 million abortions since
Oh
Roe
my
v.
God. Here
Wade
we
went
go.
on
it's not
is
40 million,
because
And you
bro.
know, and you know, and you know,
You,
white women got over
why
is
100
do you
million.
think
Can
black
we allow
women
him to
resent
finish?
black
because
men
Can we allow
when,
him to
black
as a
finish?
professional, had
daggone
mentioned to us that
females
we are the
do
most
not,
faithful to
will
our
not,
culture?
and cannot
Hold on.
love
We
Can
are the
we
most
allow him
anything
to
faithful to our
finish?
that
Nah, he
culture.
does
resentment.
not look like a
Where's the
white
resentment?
male.
How about the failure?
That's the reason was that.
How about
The
the
failure,
failure?
the failure is
How
that
about the
of black
failure?
men is that we were not born white. That is the problem in the
You
eyes
want to
of
be white?
the daggles.
That's your problem? You want to
The
be white?
problem is, as black men,
So you
we were not
covet
born
the
white.
power that you can achieve.
We were not born white, so that
You
is
can't
our failing in
achieve
your
the power
eyes.
that you covet.
Daggle. That is the
You
reason
can't
why
achieve the power that you
you
covet.
hate
So
black men,
you make a
because
detour
we are not
and look
white.
for the soft
That is the
target.
reason
I
why,
think
Daggle.
that your rhythmic
The
frequency is not
problem
going to work
is
on me.
because
I am of you, bro. I am of you. I am familiar with
you
I'm familiar with the
know
frequency, bro.
that what
I'm
See,
familiar with the
I
BMT. See
frequency.
said.
that this
You
is what
are
I'm saying. You see the dumbass shit you got to go through. You see, this is what I'm talking about, man. You
Listen,
can't have discussions with this type of person. This is a man who got a white wife, but then he want to
No,
talk
no,
about everybody wanting to be
D.
white and all this other shit. See what I'm saying?
Stop. Y'all stop. Y'all stop, man. Listen. There
I
should be no
can't,
reason why I
man.
should already. I went through 4 beers and half a pint of whiskey just trying to make it through this shit, man. I'm literally, I don't know how much of my liver I done already killed off just for this one show. I am
You
too
gotta
scared
go
to do
chew
the.
some celery.
Okay, I'll
You'll be
definitely
all
try to
right.
sell.
Just have some celery.
Listen, y'all.
You
Listen.
know, your
So
liver
saith
would
the
be a lot
Daggle.
healthier if you stayed away from black women and their defenders. Like, you gotta give yourself some space to breathe. It's
The
bad for your
Celery
liver,
5D
bro.
juice.
strategy. Do the 5D strategy, bro. 5D
Some
Celery
strategy.
crazy
juice
shit,
heals
man.
everything.
Definitely dodge daggles daily, damn it. Do it. 5D strategy.
Listen. All right. So you guys,
Think of it as calisthenics.
Yeah, man.
like, listen, y'all. Give me your final thoughts, man. Like, shit. I'll do the next topic tomorrow.
1
I'm done.
minute each person in alphabetical order.
The
You
daggle
choose.
does not control the flow of the speech. The daggle will speak only when it desires to have something come out of its mouth.
Go ahead.
Ironically, you begin with the
But
letter
that is
A.
not what the
Dude,
daggle
can you please
decides to
just shut the hell
do,
up,
does
man?
it?
The people tired of this
Dumb
fucking
Darrell,
act, and it ain't even funny, man.
come on,
This
man.
shit ain't
He
even
doesn't
funny,
What the
man.
respect
hell
Damn,
I
order.
look
dude, you
like?
lame as hell, man.
What the hell I
Final
look
thoughts, 1 minute
like?
each in
Dumb
alphabetical
Darrell.
order.
This is some lame ass shit, man.
Oh, come on, Special Levert. Shut up.
You know
The
that
least
makes
famous Levert
perfectly
brother.
good
When are
sense.
you gonna ever say something funny?
I think I've already achieved.
I got to save myself. I got to. I got to. I got to save myself. Thank y'all for coming to the BMT show. I'm your host, BMT. Oh, God. Thank you. I thank everybody for coming. I thank everybody for stopping through. Are black men who get the African or Afro Latino stepping away from black culture if most ADOS women are mixed? I'm gonna see y'all later. I can't.